Abby's out for this match, sorry. Sherry Ann Fraser, Katana Mentor, Mandramutu is also out for this game. Shineta Grimon, Millington, Schultz. I pause as the first ball is about to be brought.
Yes, and it is Connell from the southern end. First ball of this encounter, and one that made good height, Al Edwards. That would be inspiring, no doubt, to the Barbados team and Connell in particular, who opens the attack from the southern end with the keeper standing back, a slip, a point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket, and a fielder on the long leg boundary. Quite a good and pacey delivery and good bounce.
Good bounce. Welcome. That's how you welcome someone to the wicket. Let's see how, let you smell the leather, as I would say. Smell the leather. Here she comes again. Wide outside the off stump. Barely getting away with that delivery. Touchdown just by the tram lines.
Well, and there is a third man and a long leg on the boundary. That is the completed field at the moment for Cornell, operating from the southern Lozak Road end. Facing is the number 3 batsman, who is Shineta Grimman. Shineta Grimman. And drives that one in the air, and the first wicket goes down for Guyana. A good catch. Moving to her right. Is that the captain, Elia Edwards? We will wait and see who brought in that catch, but we can tell our viewers and listeners that Barbados have taken their first wicket after Guyana winning the toss here at Warner Park and decided to bat without a run on the board. So 1 wicket down, no runs on the board, and that's an excellent start for Barbados. Al Edwards.
She faced all of 3 balls. The ball was not up into the slot for the drive, and she was already through the drive before she could even pull back the shot. And it was an excellent catch, timing it well, grabbing it well, and rolling and tumbling to ensure that the ball doesn't get from her grasp.
Well, Guyana won the toss. Shamelia Cornell is bowling from the southern end. She has taken the first wicket for Barbados, so Barbados off to a good start. Heavily packed offside field with the keeper standing back, a first slip, a third man on the boundary, a point, a cover, extra cover, a mid-off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket, and a fielder also on the long leg boundary. What can Cornell produce in this over? Can she get another wicket? The defense is coming by number 30, and that batter would be...
That's Campbell. It looks like Campbell, number 30. Charmaine Campbell, the captain.
Yeah, Charmaine Campbell.
The catch was actually taken by Elliott. There are 3 players wearing the yellow brim hat, including
Yes.
the captain, Elliott, and another player. But Captain Alia is at slip. And so that catch, we can figure out, was taken by Elliott, who is at mid-off.
What will Cornell do on this occasion? The batter just playing it quietly out to short extra cover. And in the process, there is no run. But Al Edwards, a good start for Barbados here against Guyana after Guyana won the toss.
First over, first wicket, no runs aboard, no runs on the board, you couldn't ask for anything better. And she has hit a line and not straying from it.
One play down to square leg area. The fielder from the long leg boundary, number 23 for Barbados. She races to her left, collected, but in the meantime, the batters were 2 for 2. So Guyana have opened up the account. It is 2 for 1 wicket, 2 runs, 1 wicket after the first over. Al Edwards.
Just as I said that she stuck to her line for the first 5 balls. She drifted a little down leg and was tucked into the yarn side by Campbell. Picked up 2 runs. Scantleberry defeated down at backwards. Finally came around and did all the cleanup.
Yes, and opening the attack for Barbados from the northern or Singapore South will meet the center end. It's Alison Gordon, and she did have a good spells of bowling in the Super 50, which Barbados, who came to that tournament as the defending champions and won. But now this is the T20 Blaze. Let us see now. Alison Gordon. Just a little medium pacer. One just on or about the off stump. But it's always, Al Edwards is always a good thing when a wicket keeper can come up under the stumps, especially in the shorter version of the game.
Oh yeah, it puts the batsman on a lot of pressure. And it shows that she's trusted because this is supposed to be a little medium pace, it's not a spinner, and she's right up to the stumps. Let's see how clean her handworks will be. Oh, this one tailing down leg, clipped nicely, should get into the boundary now. Oh, did they save it?
It appears like the fielder coming around really demonstrated some football skills. Your more favorite sport, Al Edwards. So you would be pleased about that. And also Troy Bills, who will be joining us later.
Number one spectator sport. And as we speak, football is going on the other side, the football side of Guyana Park, so to speak.
And on the other side, where there is some soccer matches, very close to my residence. Well, it's a ball that cannot do any damages if it go beyond the playing field. Otherwise, the association, Al Edwards, not from your pocket, it might be some sort of cost.
True.
That's the other thing. Here is the delivery though, and Guyana getting another run, but there's a fielder coming off the third man area. And 5 for 1. And Barbados, they will try to get a better result than their first encounter. Well, Alison Gordon has ball in hand. Connell has given them the start that they were looking for, a wicket early. But it is Alison Gordon from the northern end. And as Al Edwards quite rightly say, when the wicketkeeper is up, especially in the shorter version of the game, it is making strong suggestions to the batter. You have to be careful moving around that crease.
Yes. A lot of batters like to take a step out to the pacers in particular. Somewhat peg you back. Oh, a second. Oh, she spilled it. A chance for Barbados to go deeper into the wicket column. There was Campbell, a loose shot outside the off stump. And the fielder stretched forward, he was dropping on her. She dove and couldn't hold on.
Yeah, and really anything going to hands, and she got both hands to it, and she floored it. And when she turned her back, we will see the number on her jersey, so we will give you who put down that catch at the moment, and still yet to turn in our direction for us to get the view. It is Cumberbatch. So a bad miss by Cumberbatch. Barbados should have had 2 wickets, but that was not the case. Well,
the wicket of Showman Campbell with West Indian pedigree.
Well, let us see how costly that drop catch might turn out to be.
Showman Campbell dropped on 2. Here is Mentor. She got some pace, Connell. Minter was the one who was more aggressive in the Guyana innings, the Guyana victory against Windwards here today. She took the batting to them early on. And at one point they were building a good platform until they fell away. But they were able to defend the runs on the board and win that game, that first game.
Well, I would like to believe that you, Al Edwards, and possibly Troy Mills, of this tournament, or before the Super 50 and now, who would you have seen as to be the fastest bowler? I wonder if Connell is in that category, but she races away from the southern end. She looks a bit pacey, but the batter is getting a run down to long leg. There's a fielder coming off the boundary. So another run. Is that so, Al? You would like to believe also too that Connell is the fastest bowler in this?
I wasn't fortunate enough to see
most of the game.
Barbados at all during the Super 50. And this is the first time I'm seeing her, but I'm sure she has a bit more pace than Glasgow of the Windwards.
Yes, and here
she might be the fastest, because I thought that Glasgow was the fastest I saw.
And she's on a good length, and that is what the captain would like to see. the umpire at the southern end, it looks like Carl Tuckett. If I'm the walk, assessing my consideration that it looks like Carl Tuckett. But anyway, it's Cornell though. 6 for 1. 6 is the total, 1 wicket down. And the wicket taker in Cornell put in a delivery right on target. So a lot of times too, Al, with the 2020 within the 30-yard circle, if the fielders within the 30-yard circle can keep things tight, then sometimes we might see some indiscretions coming in.
Oh yes, it's a form of building pressure. Overs going, no one's moving, overs and ones almost the same. Oh, and here's a lovely square cut from Campbell. She seems to be loving that shot. She looked at it, jumped at it, and cracked it to the backward point area for 4.
And really, it was also a delivery too that it gave Campbell the opportunity to extend her arms, and she did it well. She struck it real hard, and it raced into the deep point boundary for 4. So it is 10 for 1 after 2 overs. 10 for 1, and the Guyanese, they are off to a start, but losing a wicket after winning the toss and decided that they will bat. But it is Alison Gordon. She's going to look for the second wicket for Barbados, but at the same time, these two is going to try to establish a partnership. One play down to mid-on, a well-taken single, and that was the batter's call, Al. The non-striker has no need to look back, and you have to trust your partner when the ball is behind your back.
Yeah, she did just that. Campbell dashed down the wicket because Mentor was really played it. She didn't play it too hard. She played with soft hands, and by the time
here is more runs, Al Edwards. Fielder coming off the long leg boundary, and this is good running between the wickets. That is what Troy Mills and many of us as the broadcasters been saying, that the urgency when the ball is played out into the deep areas of the field, if you're looking for the first one quickly, there is always an opportunity of getting a second. The total advance is now for 13 for 1. Gordon is going to try again from the northern end outside the off stump, but struck straight to a fielder at point, and there is no run.
again we see Campbell pulling out the cut shot, but this time it went straight to the fielder. The one was pretty close to the fielder too, but by the time she got down the ball at the pass, she struck it more firmly than she did this one.
Well, Maria Abbott, St. Vincent and the Grenadines as the umpire, and it goes to slip, and Alison Gordon has taken the second wicket. It was a delivery that, moving across the right-handed batter, it found the outside edge and a straightforward catch to the solitary slip, which was a good idea because with a new ball there's going to be movement, and Guyana losing their second wicket. It is now 13 for the loss of 2 wickets.
Well, very good cricket. Up. Well, the first thing I saw about Gordon is that she was moving the ball, tailing it in, but this one just held its line, and by the time Campbell pushed at it, it was biting the edge, and gleeful acceptance by the captain in slip.
And Al, one of the contributions to an outswinger is that if the batter is moving across, or the old adage, as we say, back and across, then you would have covered your off stump. But sometimes some batters, not you in particular, because you knew where your off stump was, so you did not get out many times caught at slip. And well, I can't say it for you, but you would know your history best. But Al, a very good delivery, and it's good when you can see bowlers trying variety. And many other persons, including my good friend Troy Mills, might say variety is the spice of life, you know. But anyway, the action is here at Warner Park, and Alison Gordon would be encouraged, and even more encouragement, so Al Edwards, that the wicketkeeper is still standing up, and more so for the new batter. Now, also too, what can be a good ploy when a new batter comes to the crease in 2020, if you can try keeping that new batter for facing most of deliveries, it can dilute the acceleration of the scoring rate. But what can Garden do on this occasion? Fill full on the pads, but Connell is going to come off the long leg boundary. But in the meantime, she cannot prevent the batters from getting another run, which advances Guyana total on to 14 for 2 after winning the toss here against Barbados.
Well, Mandy Mango got a little gift to get off the mark. It was tailing, but too much down the leg side, more leg stump going further away. She just clipped it down to the fine leg area.
None. Move in there. Over.
Now she's pulling back the length a bit. The last ball will be over.
And I never really had. I could vaguely remember if I ever played any 2020 cricket, because in the era that I played, that will suggest to you, our listeners, what age I am. You will have a brilliant idea as towards that. But what I can say, though, that if teams especially can avoid the high percentage of dot balls in 2020 cricket, then they can end up with sometimes a better total, because you're going to get your wides and your free hits and so forth. And sometimes it goes actually beyond the designated 20 overs, because when you have to bowl over deliveries, it adds up. So if teams can have more control in that aspect, less wides, less free hits, but to start with, for the first power play, the fielders within the 30-yard circle, if they keep that pressure, as you would quite rightly say, Al, that adds even more pressure after losing wickets.
But the Barbados bowlers so far have been very disciplined. No balls, no wides, no high no balls, that is no overstepping for no balls, no high balls. They've been very, very disciplined, as we see a change in bowling.
That delivery was interesting, but the umpire who is in the best position, and when it comes to officiators, Al, when there is no DRS, I prefer, even if I have my personal view of things, sometimes it's better to always place that the umpire is in the best position. You know, it's not. Here is the delivery, and well on target. And another thing to add that I observe, that if bowlers, all type of bowlers on all teams, the more they can bowl wicket-to-wicket deliveries in 20 overs, it means then if the batter miss is either LBW, bowl, or stump, or caught, especially if the wicketkeeper is standing back. But on this occasion, the wicketkeeper is standing back because the bowler coming there from the southern end is a little quicker, and good feeling there by extra cover. I wonder if that is the captain. It looks so, Haley Edwards, but it is Haley Matthews. She looked like she's back on the field. It appears so. I think she's on the list there today.
No, Haley Matthews is not on the list today.
She's not there today. So
the captain is for today is Shakira Selman.
Okay, and here we have a next delivery. Pitch on target. The batter is looking for a run. It could be suicidal, but good thing that the non-striker was alert enough to send back her partner, and she did. Number 7 is in extra cover, and really these numbers also assist us greatly. But we can tell those of you who might just be joining us, Guyana won the toss, but they are now 14 runs on the board, 2 wickets are down. What would happen in this over? Oh, well, partially stopped. Does it have the legs to get close to the boundary? No, I think she's going to pull it in the fielder. But in the meantime, the batters were able to get 2 more. And I like to see the urgency, Al, when the ball goes into the outfield. I think we saw some urgency between the 2 batters there.
Oh, yes. Guyana, the top order did some good running in the last match. They went for the money singles, I would call them, dropped the ball short and dashed off. And they challenged the fielders, which is good. Which is good, especially for this form of cricket. In fact, any form of cricket. The ODIs, test matches.
Yes, and nice off hands down to third man, but there's a fielder there. The batters will get one off of Aline's bowling, who is coming from the southern end. But that has concluded her over. So after 5 overs, Guyana, who won the toss, they are 17, 2 wickets are down. So the fielders changing over, and I always like to see this, Al, whereby after over, the two batters meet mid-pitch, exchange of words. What do you think that conversation might be about now, Al?
The bowler, the incoming bowler, the plan to run, look for the singles, especially with the open onside, more open onside. If you can drop it at the onside and run, it will be good for us, things like that. Stay with me, confidence boosters, little words.
Yes. And here is one played out to cover. And here in the voice of Al Edwards, he also have played very good cricket. Soccer, Troy Mills will be able to give you more informative information. I don't want to be inaccurate in describing that part of Al, but he was a good batter in his time, good batsman, in my view. And one played out to point, and there is no run, 17 for 2. When we played locally in St. Kitts League Cricket, he played for Keon, I played for Haynes Smith, and I think he was the most challenging. And we are now into the over number 6, 5.2, 17 for 2. Barbados would be pleased right now, but Guyana getting a run down to the fielder on the long leg boundary. That looks like Cornell. But in the meantime, carries the total now on to 18 for 2 Edwards. At this particular moment, projected score 66, going at the current run rate 3.27.
Yes, and as you spoke there about T20 cricket, as the pass bowler comes in.
Good keeper.
I first encountered T20 cricket in Trinidad way back in the early 80s. Well, that will indicate to persons how old I am as well. But the T20 cricket was played over 2 days. And it was targeted as like most of the business areas. So you finish work at 4, you get to the ground at 5, and you get in your overs before the sun goes down on a particular Tuesday.
So you have participated in that?
Yes,
you did?
Our school participated because it was like for schools and business. What we call the business league, so to speak.
Well, when you say our school, could you be more informative to our listeners? It's not the Barstay Boys School or the Can High School.
At the point in time, I was going to agriculture school in Trinidad and Tobago, and we had the likes of Jones, the Jones of Navy Seas. It was also in the team.
Aretas Jones, yes, I know
his younger brother, Keith Lee.
All right.
Yes.
But we are back here, and we have not gone anywhere, but it is just cricket, and we have in cricket conversation. But the more important conversation now is Guyana against Barbados. Guyana won the toss, and after 6 overs, it is 18 the total, 2 wickets are down.
2 wickets down, Mentor and Mandigo trying to build a competitive total. Both batters are 5, as you see the indication of the power play coming from the umpire.
And it is important, as you quite rightly said, dear Al Edwards, that a partnership is most relevant for Guyana after winning the toss. So they will have to prove why they chose to bat first. But so far, Barbados just have the slight initiative at the moment. 18 runs on the board, 2 wickets down. We are into over number 7. The power play has completed. So what will happen on this occasion now that more fielders can be outside of the 30-yard circle? One played to the right of point, a fielder going to come off the deep, and another run to Guyana. Well, Guyana batters, Al Edwards, they're looking to be more urgent with their running between the wickets, and that's good because you have to look for every available and possible runs that you can get.
All right, they're looking for it, but Barbados, is trying to build the pressure. Tight ring of fielders on the offside, not so on the onside, it's just mid-wicket and mid-off. And then acres of space between the person at mid-wicket and the next person is down at deep fine leg. And so you saw the attempt by Mentor to just tuck it into the onside, probably back with a square, looking 2-1. She's rehearsing the shot at the moment.
Yeah, just a little stifled appeal, nothing ferocious, especially not from the wicketkeeper didn't ask a question. And most of the times when wicketkeepers ask a question, you have to look at it closely. But here is one very close to the off stump, keeping a little on the low side.
Yes, I thought so.
I thought that one kept a little on the low side.
I want to agree with you too, and it looks like a green top that you shouldn't get that kind of bounce at this stage of the game.
Well, that is why it is so important to try and bowl wicket-to-wicket deliveries. You could never tell what interchanges or nature that the pitch might have. But so far here at Warner Park, they have been relatively even. And one play down to fine leg. Is somebody beneath us? Yes. A fielder is going to come off the long leg boundary. And she cannot prevent the batters from getting 2 runs. And for a moment, I thought that the number 5 batter there probably missed her run in turn in a bit. But in the end, she concluded it. And 21 now for the loss of 2 wickets. 6.4 overs in progress. Widely spread offside field, heavily packed, giving strong indications to the batter, but going down the leg side and doing the opposite on that occasion, Al, with most of the fielders on the offside, then the bowling down the leg side.
She lost the plot for those last 2 balls because the first one just tickled very fine, produced 2 runs, and just now it's called a wide. The first wide for the Barbados bowling team. And with the ring of fielders, 1, 2, 3, backward point cover, extra cover, mid-off, and the third man, and still coverage on the boundary, it is clear that the captain wants her to keep that off-stump line, keep teasing the outside off-stump, build pressure by drawing up the runs from the outside field. But the Guyana batters are very glad when they see us train down line, down the leg side, and looking to tuck it into the.
But Al Edwards, you also understand as a batsman when you play the game that it gives players as batters or batsmen an indication. So many men is on the offside, so you will more expect to receive balls just on about off stump. Let us see what will happen for this delivery. Oh my, there is a mix-up, but it would have been dangerous, I thought, because even though it was played with soft hands, the fielder was approaching the ball quite aggressively. But that concludes over number 7, and after 7 overs, we're going to have a refreshment break. It is 22 for 2. Guyana won the toss and decided that they will bat, but no, it's not. No, it is? Okay. All right. Troy Mills is going to come in, and we're going to continue in our session here for this encounter to have some good cricket conversations and exchange. Novel Makal and Troy Mills and myself, we had a lot of discussions, and especially more so preparation for Leeward Islands women team going forward or in the future, what they will do. Well, you're not missing any play at the moment for those of you who may just be joining us now, but we can tell you that Guyana against Barbados here in this T-Blaze 2020 regional cricket, they are 22 for 2 after 2 wickets, after winning the toss. Guyana decided that they will bat, and obviously they prefer to set a total, and that is very important. And it's my pleasure to say a pleasant good afternoon to Troy Mills and Troy. Guyana won the toss and decided to bat, and after 7 overs, they are 22 for 2. Pleasant good afternoon to you, Troy Mills.
Good afternoon to you, Victor. Good afternoon to the viewers and the listeners. Lovely sunshine here at Warner Park. And so far, the decision to bat, one would wonder. But then again, cricket, wickets must fall at some point. 22 for 2. The important thing is how can the Guyanese recover from this? And Mandy Mangu, the most diminutive figure, I like her spirit, very energetic. And she's going to run and run fast and hard. I'm very impressed with her as a cricketer. And she's already shown her intentions here that she's going to really be running for every opportunity she gets.
And I hope this can be a pattern for all the other matches coming up, because we all want to see collectively all around cricket. But Selman is going to try from just the northern end for Barbados.
And Victor, and that one catching the edge, and umpire Abbott looking at it, thinking about it, And the hand went up slowly, that dreadful finger, index finger. And Mango, perhaps commentators curse, I don't know, back to the pavilion, caught behind by keeper Knight, 11 deliveries, facing 6. And Guyana now slumping to 22 for 3.
Yeah, and the reasons also for that dismissal, Selman right away, Troy Mills, we can see us searching for that good line and length just on or about off stump. And most likely she might have gotten a little out swinger there to the right-hander, but right in line, and with the ball will still have some sheen on it. Even though the sun is shining in all its glory here, she got a little away movement, and another good wicket for Barbados. And they have found themselves in a good position at this moment with the total 22 for 3.
Definitely, and Selman, the skipper in today's game, bringing on herself and picking up a wicket in the first delivery. And once a skipper makes a change, Victor, and that change yields a wicket in that first over, in my view, it has been a successful change.
Oh yes, and also you can give the credentials to whereby thinking the game and now saying, well, I'm going to lead from in front. I'm the captain now in this game. There's no Haley Matthews, and I'm going to get the ball, and I'm going to try to put my team in even a more stronger position. Well, 22 for 3. Barbados would be pleased so far, but Guyana would not be too pleased after winning the toss and deciding to bat Troy Mills.
Definitely, and making a change here, putting in a first slip, moving the mid-wicket, bringing her into a short extra cover. So there's a slip, third man, backward point, a fielder out on the point boundary, and Selman, her second delivery outside the off stump, and Sherry and Fraser, the new batter, allowing that one to go through to the keeper. Wouldn't be enticed for any indiscretion at this stage. I don't know about later. There's an extra cover, a mid-on, a mid-off, a mid-wicket, a fielder down on the fine leg boundary.
Well, the thing is too, Troy, in that Selman as the captain, and after getting that successful wicket, she will be motivated. Barbados in general, the team out there will be motivated. Let us see what she will do on this occasion. That's Selman.
And driving outside the off stump, Victor, and missing.
So Selman is looking for that appropriate good line and length, whether it's left or right hander, to get it just on or about our stump. And the good thing about it too, the solitary slip.
Definitely, in case the nick comes through. Barbados needing to rebound from their loss last night to Trinidad and Tobago. Guyana, on the other hand, would want to notch up another victory after defeating the Windward Islands in a close game yesterday afternoon.
Selman. And Selman, it is another confident appeal, but from our vantage point, it appears to me that it was most likely close to the edge of the bat, but what I like, the umpire, who is in the more appropriate position, said not out, and we can see on the monitor. But Selman, and a lot of times too with bowlers, as you know, Troy Mills, that sometimes after getting a wicket, they're just so pumped up that beating the bat, sometimes you ask a question and didn't touch. But looking at the monitor, it looked like it was far away, but from the distance, without looking at the monitor, it looked like it was very close, but the umpire, being in the best position, said not out, and most likely made the right decision, who is Maria Abbott from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, presiding from this northern end. Selman, the captain in this game, is going to try again for Barbados, still maintaining a good line and length, and the batter played it out to mid-on. There is no run.
And no doubt the adrenaline really pumping.
Yeah.
Selman coming on first time for the match, picking up a wicket on the first ball. So she's looking for anything and everything. They would want to put the Guyanese under much more pressure. But then again, when it comes to cricket, Victor, a vociferous appeal doesn't mean that the batter is out. And on the contrary, the bowler walking back to his or her mark, umpire, how is that? If it's out, the umpire will have to give him out.
Yes, and really,
Or her, as the case may be.
yeah, and Selman, she completes another good over, diluting the scoring rate to a little more extent after 8 overs. 22 runs on the board, 3 wickets down. Pleasant good afternoon to everyone. And Hugo, I truly appreciate our conversations in cricket. And please, as you said that you did enjoy Troy Mills, who is now here with me, our conversations apart from what actually is happening out there. But I think it is an incentive also to, but keeping still our listeners and viewers up to date. Guyana won the toss. They decided to bat, and they're up against Barbados. And Barbados have been successful so far after 8 overs, 22 for 3. And Troy, they will be looking for more wickets, but from a Guyana point of view, these two might be having in mind to try and build a partnership which will be most appropriate.
Definitely Katana Mentor. She has faced 17 deliveries for 7 runs, as we've seen another change. Connell is brought back. That one shot outside the on about center stump, going outside the leg stump, signal wide by umpire Carl Tuckett of Nevis. Victor, yes, this is the shortened version of the game, but some captains, they like to turn around, switch their bowlers after 1 or 2 overs. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, one of the things is that the batters don't have a time frame to be accustomed of one particular bowling, like 4 overs on the trot straight.
And this is another wide, and Mentor will have to be careful because she's chasing that wide way outside the off stump, and very fortunate not to pick up a nick.
Well, also what Mentor could be doing, where she might more get it to execute, if you reflect upon her movement, if she was moving more across to the off stump because the ball was moving further away and making height, she might have got it just over point. And even though there is a third man, she might have been in for some luck. But here is Connell once again, and a much better delivery, not a wide on this occasion. And the wicketkeeper, who is standing back because of Connell pace, understandably so, gathered, and there is no run. 24 for 3, Guyana won the toss and batting first against Barbados.
And Connell, in my view, she has been the quickest in the CG United 50 overs, as well as the T20 so far. A tall lady, powerful shoulders, and that one is just about center stump. And the batters run through for a single, a direct hit. May have been close, but we won't know about that. And that takes Mentor onto 8, and it carries the Guyanese total crawling onto 25 for 3 after 8.2 overs.
Yes, and that was good attacking feeling, and just looking and seeing the throw and the batter making her way into the ground, into her ground, without the ball breaking the wicket. It looked like it would have been close if it did struck, but it did not. 25 for 3, 8.2 overs. Guyana won the toss here against Barbados at Warner Park, and after some 8.2 overs, 25 for 3.
This is just but the 5th match in the series. There are going to be 15 matches. And 2 things I've noticed. One, the scores have not really been healthy, so to speak. It is 1 score going above the 100 mark. And the run-outs, the run in between the wickets, I think there have been a few run-outs so far. Perhaps the communication not as good as one would think. Yes, no, wait. Yes, it is T20 cricket, and you don't want to pick up any singles, but you still have to play sensible cricket. Connell, center stump going down to leg, and Sherry and Fraser, the left-hander, pulling it around the corner. The fine leg runs in and the field, so she gets her first run, and it takes the Guyanese total after winning the toss and batting 26 for the loss of 3.
Yes, indeed, and really, these two, definitely Troy Mills, Mentor, and Sherry and Fraser, they would need to build a partnership for Guyana. It is so appropriate at this present moment, but Connell will have other ideas coming from the southern end. Short and being played down to fine leg. Is there a fielder going to come around? Would she have the opportunity to bring it back? No. Carl Tuckett is now signaling 4, so 4 valuable runs to Guyana. Carries their total now into the 30s, most likely. We will wait and see, but another good four. So it is exactly 30 for 3, Troy. So Cornell strained a little down the leg side, and it was fine enough, even though there is a feeler on the long leg boundary, a bit wide, never had an opportunity to pull it in.
And
Here
his mentor, again, she's going to fight for her country. And she drives that one straight to cover, thinking that I should have played it a little more to her left, and she would have definitely gotten a single. At the end of the 9th over, Guyana, after winning the toss and the batting, they are 30 for the loss of 3.
Yes, and really projected score at this particular moment is 67, but early days still, even though Guyana have lost 3 wickets with 7 wickets in the hot Troy Mills. If these two can establish a partnership and go about it and play sensibly cricket, as you would say, by nudging the one, waiting for the loose deliveries, you're still going to get your wides. The 1 or 2 free hits might creep in. But Selman would have other ideas, and she have started well. She has been successful so far. We can see a ferry in the nice seas going across to Nevis. Picture is good by our technicians, but a delivery pitch just on our about off stump. But Troy Selman, obviously, what we have seen of her so far, to the left and right hander bowling, that most of her deliveries just on about off stump going across.
Very well controlling her deliveries, much better than we've seen in the past, and enticing the batters there and thereabout. And once they're going to get bogged down, they're going to become impatient and they might play loose shots. So she's going to work. And she's looking good. Just her run. And we haven't been saying much about our cameramen. I think they've been doing a very wonderful job throughout the 50 overs as well as the T20 so far. This one on center stump. Plays a square on the onside. They get one. Are they going to look for 2? No, they don't.
Yeah, they have been doing a very good job, and we would like to congratulate them. And they are also highlighting some good pictures of the island. So whenever that comes on, we will give our viewers what section of the island, what it constitutes, and so forth. So many congratulations. And try also to all the groundsmen who have been participating at St. Paul's, Connery, and at Warner Park. We would like to also congratulate them for the outstanding performances that they have provided in terms of the nature of the pitches. What would Selman do on this occasion, Troy Mills?
Outside the off stump, I'm watching it going through to the keeper, his mentor. Perhaps if it was a little closer, she would have fancied her chances. But what I'm not seeing too much of the batters, Eddie, is getting that front foot closer to the ball.
And also to what we will say then, as you would know it, back and across, the front foot coming out, but the right foot covering the off stump and then trying to execute the offside shot. But let us see if Selman will have other ideas to what we have just said. Oh my, a good delivery.
There's a loud appeal indeed, and umpire Abbott remains unmoved.
Well, and the umpire, who is in the best position, was convinced that the batter did not get an edge. Selman is not at that view based upon her reactions. But a lot of times, Troy, as you know, when a bowler has taken wickets, or as the total is right now, Guyana, after winning the toss, 31 for 3, 9.4 overs, they sometimes become more energized. So a lot of times, I know, even as a former player, that when you get in wickets, anything beating the bat, you're shouting for.
Some players operate like that, Victor. Any and every opportunity they get, they'll appeal.
Selman tries, being undriven, but there is a feeler coming off the deep mid-wicket boundary. Cannot prevent Guyana from getting another run. But almost at the halfway stage with one legal delivery to be bowled, I think Barbados would be pleased at this present moment in taking 3 wickets with the total at 32.
Definitely picking up 3 wickets, 3 critical wickets, including the captain, and restricting their scoring to just 32. At this rate, the projected score is 65.
No ball.
And that one shot, and Sherry and Fraser pulling it through the mid-wicket region, but only picking up a single. And actually, it was a no ball as well. So that's 2 runs added to the score, and it's going to be a free hit.
Well, Guyana needed that sort of incentive, bonuses, as I will refer to, because at 34 for 3, and is only one way a batter can be given out of a free hit, which is by the run-out route, which is a very scarce commodity. I can't recall me doing a broadcast or scene whereby a free hit comes and a batter or a batsman get run out. Not saying that it doesn't exist, but I think off of the free hit, the Troy Mills, I would have preferred to see a law that is caught off a free hit, because most likely, and another no ball, so missing out on the first free hit, can this be a really big miss out for Guyana not capitalizing on these free hits?
That is something, when it comes to free hits, I haven't really been seeing more times than many the batters capitalizing on that extra delivery. Of course, you'll still have to play sensible cricket, but perhaps you're given a green light to play a little more aggressive because you know you cannot be out caught. And the thing about it is, I've not seen too many. And that is White Selman basically not being as tight as she was in her first over. This is her second over so far. She's had 2 no balls. She's bowled 2 no balls and a wide. A hat-trick of infringement. And she will have to tighten it. I'm not certain if perhaps what is playing on her mind, the 2 chances for the caught behind 2 appeals she made that were not successful. But if that's the case, she'll have to forget about it. She'll have to concentrate and play for most and many reasons, including the fact that she's the captain of this team today and she'll have to lead from the front. And her country is depending on her. And this one driven over the head. 1, 2, 3 bounces, 4 runs. And Mentor not making any mistake with that on this occasion.
Well, yeah, and the last delivery, it was a little wide of the off stump, and it gave Mentor the opportunity to extend their arms and earn 4 good runs. But as we speak to our listeners and viewers, the players are going to refresh themselves. That is Guyana and Barbados. Guyana, after winning the toss here at Warner Park, they are 40 for 3. And the ground staff is also going to come out and do the appropriate gardening, while the 2 umpires along with the standing umpire, they're going to be looking at some balls. But a moment for the players to refresh themselves. It's brilliant sunshine, but we can see from the players' jerseys that they can be, or there is a pleasant wind coming across the ground. But for those of you just joining us, Troy Mills is with me, Victor Eddie, yours truly. They are having a drinks break. It's Guyana and Barbados. Guyana decided that they will bat after winning the toss. The present total after 10 overs, the halfway stage of this first segment, 40 is the total, but 3 wickets are down. Troy Mills.
Winning the toss and batting, recovering as it were, at 1.13 for 2. And they were 22 for 3, so a 18-run partnership developing here between these 2 batters. But Guyana will need a lot much more from them. They'll need to carry on the score, and we're having a picturesque view of that. Seems to be up in the St. Peter's region. Victor Eddie.
Yes, yes, a part of the island of St. Kitts, and Troy Mills quite really right. The parish of St. Peter's, it appears like that area that is, which is much more not a first where we are giving our deliberations from, actually to our backs, the north, St. Peter's area. So as you said, that our technical persons are doing a very good job, and this is good even for viewers wherever you are looking and listening to the coverage of the T20 2020 Blaze Women's Regional Cricket.
As they switch now to a view of the Premier Division football happening here, cricket on the eastern part of the ground, football on the western part of the ground, and Sandy Point, FC out of my community, SP where the best be, as we say. They're at the bottom of the table, 12th position. However, they're leading Rams Village Superstars, I think it is, and they are in the St. Peter's, pardon me, and they are fourth or thereabout, if I'm not mistaken, in the tables, leading 1-0. St. Peter's have had a very good run. We're back with the cricket, and it's going to be Elliot being introduced for the first time here today. A very crafty bowler, right wrist spinner from the Lozak Road end. That one slow, a little short, bouncing, going straight through. And Sherian Fraser being cautious and watchful, just plays it in front of her.
I was saying that only one person could run out, but the
Oh, yes. We're paying. Huh?
That's a second delivery again, not yielding anyone's. Left-handed Sherian Fraser coming outside and initially thinking about playing that one and allowing it to go through to the keeper. A very crafty bowler, a very tricksy bowler. Al, as we say, good afternoon once more.
Good afternoon.
Elliot.
Good afternoon once again.
And here is Fraser driving that one through the mid-wicket region. A beautiful piece of work there by the fielder out there, Al, limiting the batters for 2 when persons might have been thinking it was an easy 4.
I thought it was a boundary myself, but she pulled it in and knocked it down and showed no sign that it went over the boundary. A slug sweep from Sherian Fraser. She's been anchoring it in so far.
And that one perhaps a little more bounce than anticipated, allowing that one to go through the keeper. And we must compliment the groundsmen because they've been doing a wonderful job on the pitches. We've had the games I'm seeing they've played through. And here she is pulling this one forward of square. She will only get 1 at this time.
Turn, girls.
And the tracks at Warner Park said to be batting tracks, Al, but we haven't really been seeing the ones being yielded.
Well, so far,
that is correct.
this pitch looks a tin green. I mean, it's hot days, parched days. Some of the other tracks look parched, but this one is the greenest of the lot, apart from the one to the right of us that have not been used for this tournament. But you can see a little hint of green down there, which suggests that we'll have the bowlers.
And it's going to be another change here at the CA Paul Southwell Media Center end. Elia Williams, she'll be coming in for the first time.
Well, Selman gave up the ball because she had a torrid time with that last over. No balls, wides, just lost the plot. And she seemed a bit frustrated by not having the proper marker on her run-up. You can see her throwing up her arms in the air, looking down on the ground, scraping the ground in different areas. But when I looked at it first, I thought there were 1 or 2 that the umpire missed.
Okay. Williams teams away from us, outside the arse stump, allowing it to go through. But I have a school of thought, Al. When you're presented with the most frustrating situations, that is the time that you need to be the coolest and calmest. Get your thoughts together and still think logically. And it's very easy for us not to.
Well, it's logic. She did by removing herself and letting somebody else bowl.
Full outside the arse stump, playing it down to the mid-off region. Fraser, 6 from 18. Mentor on the other end, 17 from 26. Mentor the top scorer so far. Charging down the track is Fraser.
Not out.
Williams Senior coming. Throws it a little wide, a little shorter, and missing completely.
Yeah, Fraser seemed to be strong in the onside, and so Williams is trying to keep it on or about off stumps a little further, off stump a little further away. This time she tried to charge her to put her off line. Let's see what she'll do next.
And this one just about leg stump, turned around the corner, getting a bit of glove paid. A soft question being asked of umpire Abbott, who's not really interested. A shy at the stumps for a run out perhaps, but she was home.
Got to be the one asking the umpire what's for lunch, not for the wicket.
And this one taken from just about centre and off, turned into the offside, in the onside. Al, as you were saying, she favours that, picks up a single nonetheless. And you mentioned lunch, and we have to pay a lot of credit to the caterers, Al, for both the CG 50 over Super 50 as well as the T20 Blaze, because I've been enjoying the meals.
Oh, I've been enjoying the meals. It's quite sumptuous. I was at St. Paul's for most of the meals. The caterer there was one Tasha, I think. And I had no problems whatsoever. Look forward to the meals.
It looks like you're salivating as we speak about
As we speak. As we speak.
Right-hander.
Shamelia Connell, 3 overs 12. Picking up a wicket. The opening bowler, Al. A very powerful lady. And it's the end of the 12th over. 45 for 3. Not in a very strong position. But there's an adage, runs on the board, already runs on the board.
When you have a powerful batting lineup like Barbados has, that adage may not hold a lot of water. But let's see what will happen, because Barbados would want to get them out cheaply and not even test their batsmen.
That one just outside the leg stump, trying to sweep that around the corner is Mentor. Question being asked,
I don't
and
mind
appeal
that.
goes up.
That can go straight up
But
anyway.
Cal took it, look at it, not interested.
Yeah, she Mentor brought out the broom.
And what was happening there? Looking to turn that pulled up one indecisive,
Turned too much for her. So I
just
think
on about leg stump.
Alright, Peg.
And she's turning the ball indeed, Elliot.
Well, what Mentor is trying to do is to use the vacant spaces in the onside.
One.
And she finds one through the covers.
But there's coverage out there.
Exactly.
Try right there, Knife.
She goes to 19 from 30. And one thing has been
Girls.
obvious in not only the T20 but the 50 overs. The number of the high percentage of dot balls. A lot of these dot balls, you tickle around the corner, you push your soft hands, you run you for a single.
Well, Fraser is very guilty of this now, because these balls are turning gently. She could literally move across the wicket and just dab them down into the onside and look for a single. She's electing to go. Oh, now she's electing to go overhead.
That one will it run away for 4? Yes, it does. Most welcome the boundary. Long time we haven't seen one, Al. So the score goes up to 40. That should be about 50 by my reckoning.
That should be the milestone by now.
Yes. And 50 for 3 half century. And they're going to be squeezed in 2.
Back to you.
Very good bit of running, and that is again something that has been missing, Al. I heard a commentator said this morning that the batters are turning 3s into 1s.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
I thought that was extremely poetic. I wonder if he sings calypso. I don't know,
But Guyana ran well yesterday. Kudos to them. Windies, on the other hand, made a mess of it in some instances. I think they had 2 run-outs.
Exactly.
On the first match day. So it's not by and large. We're seeing some good running, particularly from Mentor.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point was taken. It has to be taken. Too many dot balls.
Too many dot balls. And I'm hoping that they're not developing.
When better could be done, as we've seen in the case of Fraser.
And trying to sweep that one, not getting it as much backward as she wanted. And that's another thing again. Most times they're not running the first one hard or fast.
And look for yep.
They're not trying to put pressure on the fielder or look for a second in case there's a misfield. So there are different areas that runs are not capitalized or grabbed or snatched, whatever you want to say. And that presents opportunities for the coaches to be working on. Trying to, with that, apparently getting some, that one connecting on the pad.
Either they connected on the pad or it was so close to the leg stump that the umpire didn't want to call wide.
Well, the law with wide has changed over the years. Once ago it was within a 12 inches, but then that has changed to anything outside the leg stump, close or not.
Oh dear. And that's one way of getting another single.
Exactly.
Drive, but not with
softer hands.
Correct.
And that is something that we have been saying as commentators. The batters are not using too soft. They're punching balls all the way down to the middle of long on and only getting a single. But I'm an advocate. I don't know if it will happen in our lifetime, Al, that when it comes to wides, just as how there's a free hit with the no ball, I am advocating that there should be a free hit for a wide ball as well. I suspect that suggestion may have been made as the batters hustle through to a single here.
single on.
And with the West Indies Cricket Umpires Association, they'll be having a biennial convention in the Cayman Islands, I think it is, next month. And I think I'll make that proposal. Chances are somebody may have done it before, but nothing is wrong is reminding them. It takes time for some things to happen. But I think the white ball, it should be a free hit as well.
Nicely done. Fraser's listening.
Definitely.
Leans forward, turns it into the onside. There are acres of space in the onside. Single on. Push on the score to 56.
And that is something even the men's team, they have been getting some stick for, considering themselves a boundary hitting team. But when you look at the number of dot balls, you're not getting boundaries, but you're not getting any runs from them.
Mm.
So working here because the bad balls will come. Six dot balls in an over made and 6 singles.
To take up on that point that you mentioned about a free hit for whites as well, you have to keep in mind that there are sponsors, there are television time slots, and things of that nature that come with a tournament. If you bowl that many wides and you have to bowl them over for free hits, it may just go beyond the time slot. And you know, television is everything with respect to these games. That's where they get their money from, as well as their gravy.
Most correct, Al, but the free hit doesn't, you must bowl an extra ball in an event. The free hit is just changing the ways you can be out.
But then again, no balls inside there.
And with a no ball, with a free hit, I'm speaking about free hit, and that is a sitter being put down there. Very fortuitous was Fraser.
Come on, girls.
Basically giving catching practice on that point.
Come on. All right, ladies.
You deduct something from that.
Keep going, girls. All right, Payne.
Discuss it.
And the sitter D and going again this time along the carpet, charging down, looking for a run. Nothing is there but making it back home and the keeper not collecting. Perhaps I'll argue that ought to have been a single, Al.
I would want to argue so too, because it was struck almost firm. It was going away to her right. The non-striking batter should have been backing up. For Fraser
Exactly.
for Fraser to reach that far and get back, they could have gotten two then.
And not only that, it was the striker's call.
Correct. But she was looking back.
Exactly, ball watching. And that is something else that we've been seeing. You have to trust your partner.
No.
You have to trust your partner. And the way I grew up learning cricket, once it goes behind you, it is the other partner's call.
Arms.
Correct. Yeah. You grew up learning playing cricket indeed.
And Elliot teasing and taunting.
Boy, girl, keep going, girl. All right, ladies.
And Fraser is still there, 17 from 31 balls. Mentor 21 from 33. And these two, they've been there a bit, bringing the score from 22 for 3.
All right, girls.
So some 36 runs, partnership.
Correct. Building, but not building very far. Should go beyond the reach of the capability of the Barbados batters.
One.
Giving herself room this time is Fraser. Punches it out into the deep cover. Only getting a single. There's an adage, and I believe in adages. 1-1 full basket.
Well, for sure, that one can't be denied. Sound speech that cannot be condemned.
1-1 full basket.
But as you're on the discussion of changes to the game, Victor just brought a note, I don't know if it's original or he got it from somewhere else, about deductions from the scoring team if a maiden over is bowled, 2 maiden overs being bowled in T20 cricket.
But why would you want to deduct both runs from me that I worked hard for to score? I've already made.
But you're tied down. You allow yourself to be tied down. You're robbing the spectators.
It's entertainment, and we know, especially the T20, the topmost entertainment in the limited overs version.
Light roller.
But I'm looking at it from the angle that'll be a challenging argument, most challenging to pursue. The bowler, he would have bowled well by not giving away any runs in 2 overs. So that is his reward.
So you're having the bowler by bowling a no ball and you're giving him a free hit.
Mm-hmm.
When the batsman is failing to score off of 6 balls.
Is
In
that,
12 balls.
is that erring really? I'm just respecting the good balls.
Okay,
The balls were good.
Okay. To be continued.
And this one pushing back, and Williams in her follow through, stretching out her right hand, hoping she'll find the ball in there. But that won't happen today. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow.
We could mention that came from controversial.
And that ball, and the batter's picking up a single. But that is something that Victor Eddy has advocated. It's not the first time I've heard him say it. And he may consider himself controversial, and I don't know. But hey, life without any controversy, yes, that is like seasoning. Because that should cause us to think about things, without a box, as opposed to outside the box, as opposed to just limiting our thoughts.
What is happening here? Yeah, it's now 6-3. The whole up in play. I think the umpire is dissatisfied with something that's on the field, and she has asked Scantlebury to remove it, and so she's waiting until Scantlebury gets back into her position at mid-off. Oh. She's looking.
I watching all.
The umpire on that occasion, Al, she is going through the replay in her mind, recreating the scene, and this occasion not convinced that the batter was out, so she lives to fight another day.
Yeah. Speaking about living to fight another day, we saw Fraser getting a second chance, a ball on card, even a more difficult one. She was put down with a sitter, the player at mid-off, and coincidentally she dropped seated. She dropped seated and spilled the catch, spilled the sitter.
Indeed. Well, fortune favors the brave, is he saying?
Fortune favors the brave. Let's see how brave she will be. You realize that his time is going out. Oh, I knocked your shot one.
Oh, nice bit of
Knocked
fielding.
down by.
Selman, is it? Yes,
It looks like Selman.
Oh, nearly a run out there to Al. A direct hit. And I think it would have been goodbye for Mentor.
It would have been because she was short of the ground by the time that ball got in, and it was thrown from Selman sitting on the carpet.
Definitely, but a beautiful piece of fielding by Selman. A bad bounce, diving at it, knocking it down. Charging down and missing is Fraser.
Well, she has made up her mind that this is the business end of the innings.
The
It's
happy
now
hour, as
15.
it were.
Yeah, happy. Yep.
This is the gravy period, as some people here in St. Kitts would say.
And her actions have prompted some move from Selman. She's bringing in the players on the 45s and pushing back those from mid-on to mid-off, to long off and long on. So up comes the third man, up comes the fine leg.
And straight back goes Fraser, just eluding the outstretched hand, almost a replay of a previous opportunity, but that one about 3.5 inches beyond the reach of the diving Williams.
This girl have me skipping ball.
And the thing about life, I've known some persons to be very hungry, delicious food in front of them, and for whatever reason they can't eat.
I wonder what that means.
Maybe they didn't have the appetite, I don't know.
Try, you must be the Calypsonian.
Turning this one around the corner down to the fine leg is Mentor, picking up a single.
Over.
And for an instant, both batters there on 22 Al. So Sherry and Fraser coming in and really putting on the charge, as I know bring back Victor Eddy.
Well, Shavian is trying to get on with it. She's realizing that she has used up a lot of balls, and the only way to get on with it is to score some boundaries to bring the score closer to her total balls faced. She's now on 22. And Katian Mentor is on 23. 37 and 35 balls respectively.
Four ladies. Our girls are good. Four ladies. Come on.
Back to cricket. Elliot to continue.
Oi.
Trying to give herself room, make room for herself to get it to the outside. His Mentor doesn't succeed. I think this is her last over.
Four ladies.
Elliot. She hasn't picked up a wicket, but very economic. Swung into the onside. Will this challenge the boundary? No, straight to the fielder and deep mid wicket boundary. They're trying for 2. Change their minds. So the score moves on by 1.
Four ladies.
Fraser to face. The field changes over for the left-handed Fraser.
Trish, go in circle. Trish, go in circle.
It's Elliot.
Mills.
Field well adjusted now. 3 boundary orders on the onside. Probably realize that Fraser likes the onside. And she swings it with the stem to the outside. Ball dropping short.
Easy, easy.
And she gets 2 comfortably.
Keep going, girls. Keep
As I
working,
welcome
ladies.
Victor back. Victor, I want you to take a close look at how Fraser is running with the bat. and give me a comment if that's the approved fashion. Here she goes again.
Yeah, bottom. All right, ladies, girls, water high low.
Sorry, rephrase the question. Sorry.
I was asking you to comment on the way Fraser is holding her bat when she's running between the wickets.
Yeah, that is also a very good observation, and you have to, whatsoever side of the field, say if the ball after this delivery, which is another run, whichsoever side of that the ball is going to, like that one was played, the bat should have been in the left hand on that occasion as the striker running to the non-striker end, and vice versa, the other hand. But you should always be facing or seeing where the ball is when you're even running. So if she had the bat in the left hand, it would have been more easier. But in any way, all these things are learning processes for the women cricket going forward, and cricket in general. But between those two batters who are at the crease right now and building a form of revival after 17 overs, you would see that between both of them, Monroe has faced 38 deliveries, 24 runs.
Minto.
Sherry and Fraser, 40 deliveries, 27 runs. So between them, that percentage of balls faced in terms of the total at hand, it shows that a high percentage of that balls. And in the shorter version and this T-Blaze 2020, that aspect or area of play becomes a great concern.
Well, they've taken up more than half the bowling. That's 78 balls for a return of just 51.
Well, let us see what would happen here now for the Guyanese, because they will have to get some boundaries, and if they can just get over the 100 mark, that will be good. 50 is the partnership of 62 deliverers, so this is a good one from where they were. And from a Guyana point of view, they would hope that they can get some more 6s and 4s now for these remaining overs. 17.1 we are in, and operating from this media center end is Williams, and one played down to short extra cover, and quite rightly so. The batters looking for every opportunity to score runs now. It is now 73 for 3, 17.2 overs we are in. Mentor has received 39 deliveries, she's 25, while Sherry and Fraser, 41 deliveries for her, 28, and another dot delivery. So these adds pressure, but this is good that we got from the official persons for this tournament. There can be more than one way a batter can be out,
yes.
normally or usually. And my apologies to all our listeners and viewers, but because we are so accustomed that the rule in 2020 is normally only by the run-out, but here comes a wide, another incentive to the Guyana total, and they would need those, but they would need some 4s and 6s at this present moment. And just to highlight for our listeners and viewers, Al, you can tell them the 3 ways that the batter can be out in this 2020 Blaze Women Regional Cricket.
Run out, obstructing the field, hit the ball twice.
Yeah, because a lot of players is very smart with the obstruction aspect, right? And I will explain some of that, but here is another run, and all runs are very most important now for the Guyanese, coming down into the 17.4 overs, 75 for 3. Now, a ball can be struck down to long on, for example. The batter can place themselves in a position whereby the bowler have to run around them.
Yes.
And here is a delivery outside the off stump, no run. So it makes the distance more difficult for the person when the batsman actually see where the bowler is coming, but stay their ground. So the bowler would try to avoid running into the batter. And Troy Mills, who usually stands as umpires, he will be up to those sort of tricks too when he is in those positions officiating as umpire. But one is played through cover, They're looking more urgent now, and quite rightly so, because that has concluded over number 18. So after 18 overs, Guyana, after winning the toss, 76 for 3. And every time we see players racing out, it's not just to exchange gloves or things like that. A lot of times, most of the times, it's messages. We only predicted or speculated that could be Al. What would you think most likely it would be? Messages?
Well, it's a reminder that there are only about 12 balls left, and if you can score, if you can score at least a runner ball, we'll put it beyond the last target.
But this should be a very big concern for all of us, not just here today as the broadcasters, but in general in all 2020 cricket matches. The high percentage of balls received and then your personal score, a lot of times that come into the equation which way the result goes and who it most favors.
Give some time for that.
Well, you're looking beyond to your favorite sport. You can just give us some indications as to what's going on. But we're still keeping our listeners abrasive as to what is happening here at Warner Park. It's Guyana versus Barbados. Cornell is back in the attack, reintroduced, being driven down to mid-off. An attacking piece of fielding. Would she hit the stumps? No. It might have been close, but in the end, the batsman made it. The ball didn't hit the stump. One more run. And the urgency that usually comes a lot more in the latter part, especially in 2020, it should be at the opening of the innings.
Correct.
Whereby you keep that urgency from the top and try to be consistent.
Because he wasn't seeing it from these two, but in particular, they were taking their own time, playing it out and not moving.
Because a lot of times too, when fielders, especially when the ball going the outfield and the city batters running the first one quickly, it happens to us all who have played the game at any level, where you just slightly take your eye off the ball, it either go through you or you fumble it, and then the batter is able to get two because they were running the first one quickly.
Or sometimes 4.
Or sometimes it go for 4, quite rightly. Thanks for the correction. Well, the captain, Selman, is really leading by example. Look at that effort there by throwing herself to the ground, making certain that the batters will only get 1 run, which they did so comfortably, and carries their total, that's Guyana, on to 78 for 3, 18.2. Projected score at this moment is 85, current run rate 4.25.
Yeah, well, they've stepped it up a bit. I don't know if it will be enough, but they certainly stepped it up a bit from how they were going. At one point, it was 3.3 per over.
Yes, the need, the ascendancy, the need force. Yes, the exchange of the strike is all right, but at this particular moment, 18.3, 79 for 3, I think 4s and 6s. And it might just be a little humor if a straight drive goes to the southern end where some pigeons are finding some sort of food, that you will see them have to be scattering. We would hope that the ball would not hit any of them, though, to take away their lives. And very picturesque ground is Warner Park. And many times, and we have heard, people discussing size of the ground, but once the ICC, the International Cricket Council, wherever they approve an international venue, they know how they come by their measurements. And oh my, that was an inventory try. Oh my, would have been close in your view, Al? Can we look at the monitor to see how that one might have looked once we got the replay? 18.4, 79 for 3.
Well, she was trying a scoop. She's willing to try anything.
Let us see what it looks like. Does it?
Oh, it was close.
It might have just been a touch and go situation, but those commentators with the glasses have a better picking up of where the bat was grounded, and I believe Troy Mills in the background was right that she might have just made it. Here is Cornell down the leg side. Carl Tuckett is going to extend his arms, so 1 more bonus to the total by a wide. And you can ill afford those situations at this particular moment, but it is welcome for Guyana, 81 for 3, 18.4. Projected score, 87, going at 4.34. Well, we have seen where teams have gotten below 101 matches in this T20 players, and here is one played into mid-wicket area. And you see there, Al, quickly, the fielder saw the batters going through urgently, and then she fumbled the ball at short mid-wicket. So I really appreciate your guys' as commentators' analysis, so you so quickly picking up things whereby the game can be more progressive if certain areas are done more appropriately. And especially now, though, the need 4s and 6s in my view, but what will Connell ideas be? And down to fine leg. Would a fielder be down there? Yes, there is. And they will only get one. Well, ones wouldn't carry them closer to the 100. You need 4s and 6s at this particular moment. After 19 overs, 83 for 3, this possibly might just happen to turn out to be enough, but we could never tell. We could never tell, because we have seen where teams have been ball out under 100 in this T20 blaze. So, but most of the times, though, I'll be honest, I usually prefer to set a total once conditions are equal, and whereby you have an opportunity to defend it, but at the same time chasing, you have a good idea of the equation of what is necessary and what the indiscretions are not necessary, especially sometimes when you get a big over 2 4s, for example, and you're within the strike rate. So a lot of times I think we need to place more emphasis on the batters. Yes, the coaches have their duties to do, but the batters should be able to assess situations and know what is necessary and what is inappropriate. Well, so Selman comes on at a very important time to bowl the final over. And her first delivery concedes a run. And for all the legal deliveries that will be bowled here now, well, in my view, Guyana need to get every available run in any form or fashion.
So true, but Selman brought herself back. I think she's been bowling a good spell with the exception of the problem she had in the second over. Other than that, she seems to be tight and fairly difficult to move off the square. So I don't know where the boundaries will come from. She had 11 runs over 2 overs, and one of them was 2 of them wide, no ball, and a free hit. So apart from those, she was very, very tight.
And there again to Al Edwards, even though that delivery was played down to fine leg, even though obviously too, it was played with Sarfans going directly to the fielder, still show that urgency.
Correct.
We were not too certain what the fielder will do when they see the batters with that urgency. And even more so, importantly, this is the final over. 4 legal deliveries to be bowled by the captain Selman in this game, operating from the northern end, sporting the number 4 on the back of her jersey. Well, good thinking on the behalf of Selman. Sign the batter moving and then digging it in short of a length. Not considered wide, but the first one in that is above the shoulder. So certain segments of the game there is changes, but probably it can go on a broader scale. No doubt in the future we might see changes to some of the rules in cricket, but Selman is moving away. And she knows how important it is, and she has decided to lead from the front, but struck straight over her head. Would it come beneath us for 4? 2 fielders are there. One have picked it up well, it looks like Elliott.
No, Williams.
Williams, thank you. And in the process, the batters were able to get 2 advances. The Guyana scores onto 85 for 3. I think Troy Mills was mentioning 90 would be their target. It is now 87. 2 legal deliveries to go. Troy, I believe you may get a 6 and a 4, so I will go beyond the 90. Al, what do you think? 90? Or a 4 and a 6?
That's 91.
No ball.
Oh, a bold. Bold. Wicket goes. Oh, it was a no ball. Oh my.
Well, it is appropriate from a Guyanese point of view. It was a no ball, but she lost her off stump, and as we quite rightly have read that
in this occasion, you can only be 1 out, obstructing the field, or hit the ball twice.
Well, so
although rare, all the other 2 are rare.
So this
gives
gives the batter an opportunity to try and get a 6 or a 4 no try because it was a no ball. So she's going to get a free hit. So, well, a sign of confidence. And as you said about the helmet there to Troy and Al, since the helmet has been introduced into cricket, do you realize that more batters are getting hit on the head? You wouldn't have recognized that, but it is happening more often. I believe the reasons for that too, when you know you don't have any protection, you have to make a decision whether you're going to hook or get out of the way. Ask Luther Kelly about that. I think where that one was heading, even though the batter got on it, 19.5. So one legal delivery to be ball, and Troy Mills look like he is going to get his accurate prediction that Guyana will get 90. After winning the toss here against Barbados, decided to bat Guyana. One legal delivery to be ball, 89 for 3. Selman, the captain, has the responsibility. And being driven down, they should be getting 2. Now we see urgency at the latter part, and they finally got the 2. So 91 it is for 3. After 20 overs, Guyana batting first. Sherry and Fraser, 35, faced 51 deliveries. But after 20 overs, in this first segment of this encounter, the 20T Blaze Women's Regional Cricket, Guyana batting first after winning the toss, 91 for 3. 91 for 3, but a concern for us and for all the matches is this column which you would read out. And I think if the result goes different, this might be one of the areas of concerns which might just contribute to that. But that is just speculation on my behalf.
Well, the coaches have notes. The coaches have notebooks, and they will take note of that. Katian Mentor scored 32 from 46 deliveries. Sherry and Fraser got 35 from 51. With 7 wickets still in the shed, we thought that at that stage you could be a little more aggressive, chance it some more, show a little more aggression with all that dot balls being soaked up.
But try, you know, and sorry, but Al Edwards, you know, the amazing thing for me with that column where facing 46 deliveries, 32 runs was Tatiana Mentro, and then Sherry and Fraser, 35, 51. That is an area of concern that the coaches and also the batters should have concern about that. But a lot of times that is into the equation, whichsoever the results, how it comes out to be. If the team that batted first, which was Guyana, 91 for 3, with that column, that might be an area of significance. Yeah. So between the two of them, if you add the percentage, 51 and 46, you guys are good mathematicians. So that's what, 97, so, you know, and that's a very high percentage. And okay, this is the point I was getting to. You're not missing any play at the moment. The first segment has concluded. Guyana against Barbados. Guyana won the toss, and after 20 overs, 91 for 3. Now, with the field widely spread, Al, how difficult it is for the equation to reach that high, where 97 deliveries between the two batters, Mentor and Sherry and Fraser. Don't you see the possibility whereby, because the field is so widely spread, that you could get more singles than if you can't get fours?
Well, it would take batsmen like you with soft hands who can manipulate the ball between the gaps and dash off an easy single. What happens in most instances is that the field is well set and they tend to play the ball straight to the fielders and firmly to the fielders. And
right.
Those are the two issues.
Very good. Because then, even though you're striking the ball straight to the fielder, if the fielder have to come to the ball,
correct,
then it's a difference. And what I also
move to his right or left.
What I also see too that can be a very good thing for the coaches to identify, which I believe they would have, is that in the first power play, when the fielders are inside the circle and only 2 persons are allowed on any side outside of the circle, then when you play with soft hands in any direction to the left or the right, of fielders in the various positions on both sides, there's an opportunity for a run. Because to cover 22 yards, if you softly, gently play it to a fielder who is a right-hander's left, they have to exchange that ball to their throwing arm, and by doing so, that also gives an opportunity. So I think a lot of times it's about that, what you said, the firmness to hitting it too hard at times, but also to the running between the wickets. But having said that, all players have to be of a high level of fitness, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Fitness.
Oh yes, especially in this format of the game.
But as soon as the other half would get underway, you will hear and reintroduce Troy Mills will come in. Well, but so far the ground staff, like I said, and we want to also recognize all the scorers and match referees, because a lot of times when we go into name calling, people go say, hey, you call so and so and you ain't call me. So in general, I apologize if I did not include anyone, and Trent Sargent and the technical staff. And what I like that they were doing, they were highlighting a lot of areas of St. Kitts, and they showed a little of the football area. When Troy Mills was on with myself, Al Edwards, they showed also a St. Peter's area. So a lot of people are seeing our beautiful island.
Oh yes, and they get an opportunity to see it from the lens of the cameraman. But not missing the cricket, the second innings is about to commence. But until then, we'll take you back to Master Control. When you come back, you'll be Victor Eddy and Troy Biff Mills.
about the leg stump going down, turning it around the corner. But there's a backward square, short backward square, stopping the single. And Guyana, not in very unfamiliar territory, Victor, scoring 88 last night against the Windward Islands and winning. And this one is going to be a gift. Would it have the legs to get to the boundary? The field is a little sluggish, and yes, it does. Giving away a boundary full toss on your third delivery.
Yes, and Casey Knight, she made good use of it, executed it into the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. So Guyana's strength is going to be reliant on their spinners, and one of the things that spinners contribute, especially when a batter now is on strike, who is Casey Knight, the movement of the feet would not be as appropriate as to when a seam bowler opens. But because the bowler is slow, it is played down the track, there is no run. But try Guyana heavily dependent in their bowling department on the spinners. And we will see how this will turn out in this encounter. One striking Casey Knight on the pad. And I'd like to see the urgency of the fielders inside the 30-yard circle. 3 fielders actually came approaching a ball that was played just while the batter tried to play it, but it came off the pad. But 3 fielders were in there hustling in to make certain that they do not get any further run. So this is going to be the above the waist. It was that one. I'm not too certain, but it's going close again to the mid-wicket boundary. Will it have the legs? It might just do so, and it does so. So another 4. So this has been a productive over for Barbados in chasing 91 for 3 off their 20 overs, Guyana, when they batted first, Troy Mills.
To start off with 8 without loss at the end of the first over. I don't believe they could have asked for a better start. Not a very good showing at all for Guyana. They will have to tighten up, but it's not virgin territory for them, so to speak. They made 88. They at the end of their 20 overs, they scored 88 last night against the Windward Islands, and they were able to restrict the Windward Islands to 84.
So can we have lightning striking twice?
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see, and that is the correct words and choices to use, because sometimes you can get yourself into trouble if you forego in your decision by saying one team would win and the other would not win, but then to come back and to correct yourself. So you have to be cautious. And really, we're going to see another spinner from the southern end, Troy Mills. So quite an interesting opening attack for Guyana.
Definitely. Right arm over, playing that one uppishly. With 1 bounce to Sherry and their Fraser. And looking very athletic and agile.
You have to be inside that 30-yard circle, Troy. Very agile.
Guyana were 2 runs for the loss of 1 wicket at the end of the first over. A staff difference here on both ends with the Barbadians. They are 8 without loss. And Trishan Holder, she's taking strike from Clafiana Millington. Millington operating from the southern or Lozak Road end. Lovely day for cricket. It's warm, not as warm as in previous days. Pushing it back on the stumps, and that one going through to the keeper, is it? Yes. And in my view, I'll argue, Victor, that the hottest week we've had this year is the first week of May.
I'll make note of that.
Very, very hot, especially the Monday. And going driving outside the off stump, perhaps not having a license because missing everything, and the keeper flashing off all the bails, Stephanie Taylor. But Shemaine Campbell, pardon me. But Trishan Holder was safely at home. Driving forward the square. Forward point. Actually, they're going to run through for 2 runs. Elegant looking shot. Not a lot of power, timing, and placement.
Correctly said there, Troy Mills. And a lot of times it's better to use the emphasis, especially early part of your innings when you have not gotten your rhythm as yet. To current run rate is 5. Well, 108 balls to be bowled to get 82 runs. So Troy, do you see any need, even though it's early, for any indiscretions with the percentage of balls to receive and 108 and 82 runs thereabout?
Not at all. With so many balls, 108 to get fewer runs, 82.
What would be
under
your
any
instructions? What would be your instructions in the chase from here on in?
As we see a change in over, change in bowling from the CA Paul Southwell end.
Come on, girls, come on.
Ashmini Monisa. She's now operating. Right arm over. Driving. Beautiful looking drive outside the off stump.
Come on, girls.
But not being able
Wait. Andy. Good.
to beat Retimaya in that extra cover. Going aerially this time in the offside. Only picking up one. And to answer that question, Victor,
Girls, come on, girls.
there'll be a multiple prong approach.
Jerry, go extra.
One, play each ball on its merit, obviously. Two, try to get as many singles as possible. Avoid few dot balls.
She's coming
And
over the
three,
wicket.
run the first one hard.
I cannot.
I'll introduce the fourth one, proper communication. Wait. No. Yes.
And with the calling, it's either yes or no, or wait or come. But you got to be consistent. But here is consistency. The pigeons at the southern end have to be dispersed because the ball goes in their direction down to third man. And Barbados, they earn a 4. So 4 more to the total. And really, they are comfortable at the moment.
But Victor, something very interesting. That one coming off the edge, going to the first slip. And I got the impression the first slip actually, instead of going up at the ball, she went down.
Well,
She may have missed it had she jumped, but
it
that
might
wasn't
just
the
been a
case.
little misjudgment on her behalf, but they will have to take every opportunity when it comes close, even half chances, make them possibly into chances. 15 without loss, 2.5 overs being bowled, chasing 91. 77 runs to get off 103 balls, striking the batter on the pad. There is a loud appeal. The umpire, who is in the best position, Maria Abbott, thought it was going down the leg side and upheld the decision by not out. That concludes over number 3, and after 3 overs, Barbados 15 without loss. The need of 102 balls, they need 77 runs. So, no, obviously there might be the instructions, and Troy Mills called it right. Communication, high aspect of it, especially in this level of cricket, 2020 cricket, and the other 3 that you coincide, and all very important factors of this game. Well, these 2 will have to keep going, and the better this partnership to Troy Mills, it could be a lot much more convenient in Barbados overhauling the total. But there on the other hand, if Guyana should get wickets and get them rapidly, that total figuratively, which appears small, it can come huge.
Guyana winning the toss and deciding to bat. I guess they'll still try and figure out if that was the right decision. Only being able to put 91 on the board. The good thing is they lost 3 wickets, and one would argue with 7 batters to come, you should have been a lot more aggressive.
Especially in the last 5 overs with that amount of wickets in hand. But that was not to be. Here is what is at hand. One missing the wicket and the keeper. The batter was trying to hit it somewhere for wide long on here. We will wait and see. It crosses the line now. We wait for the decision from the
Actually,
umpire.
that's a French cut. A French cut, Victor.
So it was runs and not buys?
Oh, yes, exactly. Passing
well,
close to the stump.
Very
And
good.
that's the 4th boundary.
Well, and at the same time, high percentage of boundaries. Look at the equations of the ball face. Casey and I, 13 from 12. And then Tristan Holder, 9 deliveries, 6 runs. She has faced. So they are going good in that column. Actual total is 19 without loss. So there is absolutely. And Troy, with the field widely spread, that's the easiest option for batters to get singles.
Right now, the Barbadians, they are large and in charge, trying to drive this one in the offside, going down to fine leg, picking up 2. On the onside, picking up 2. And they're really large and in charge, not really troubled so far by the bowling. And Guyana will really have to tighten up and pull back things.
Because current run rate is over 5, and it is just below that is the required one, but the current one, they're going well, and they're getting another run being played firmly down to a wide mid-off. The fielder had to move to her right, but couldn't prevent the batters from getting the 22nd run. So going at a current rate of 5.50. So after Guyana, who batted first, in their 20 overs, they scored 91. They lost 3 wickets. And Barbados, in response, a current run rate of 5.50, 22 without loss. Barbados, 96 balls to get 70 runs. 2 batters having a mid-pitch conversation. What can that conversation be?
I notice a mid-pitch, Victor, because quite often I hear commentators referring it, and even cricketers referring it as to a mid-wicket.
Mid-pitch, that's
I'm
right.
wondering if they would have gone out to the mid-wicket region to have their conversation.
Well, also too, the wicket is the stumps.
Exactly.
The wicket is the
3
stumps,
stumps
but there
and
is
a
a
bail, and 2
position.
bails.
There's a position in cricket which is mid-wicket. So that you see, and you see the coincidence there. Mid-wicket, and the wicket is the stumps, and some persons would say,
And this one is played up, and Barbados losing their first wicket.
well,
Kaisi and Knight looking at the square leg, wondering if it carried, diving smartly to very, very low to her right. And we'll get the name of that player. And Guyana elated at this point, seeing the back of Kaisi and Knight for 16 from 15 balls.
well, and a very good wicket in this particular time, and total on the board 22 for 1. And really, that is what Guyana needed. This will lift their spirits. We will see a lot more urgency and more effort now in the field from the Guyanese, because they are defending 91 in going battle. Keshona Knight, I think she scored 140.
144.
That was the highest individual score in the Super 50. So
And she came out with the highest aggregate as well.
okay, and current run rate though in this particular encounter, it's over 5. 95 balls to get 70 runs. Who is gonna win this match? I don't know. What?
The gap is getting closer, Victor, between the number of runs required and the number of balls. And giving herself room is Keshona.
Well, bunks and turn too, so that must be encouraging for
Young Monisa.
Monisa, yes,
Very
operating.
encouraged. Right arm round the wicket, pitching that one up.
And why I like why she's bowling around the wicket, I like to see when bowlers have an opportunity to see the 3 stumps clearly. But everybody have their reasons why they bowl on sides. But I like this idea where she can see the stumps, get a better line. Oh my.
Down the leg side.
Down the leg side.
They don't have too many ones on the board, so they can't afford to be giving away these bonuses. It's not yet Christmas to be giving away gifts. So they have to tighten up on this.
Stop it. Good.
Now, for instance, that was a full toss. There is a mid-on. But probably if the batter just move a little more and then just try to hit it to the fielder at mid-on's left. But there again, moving your feet and the keeper standing up, it takes some confidence. But here is a misfield, and that's another area again to try that you have to be tight on inside the 30-yard circle.
Definitely, and the batters ambling through for a single. So it's 24 for 1 at the end of 5 overs.
Well, it will work next time. You will get around to it, Troy Mills. It will happen on the next occasion. But what the occasion is presenting here now at Warner Park between these two teams, Guyana, who won the toss, they scored 91 for 3 off of their 20 overs. And Barbados, in response, they are 24 for 1. And here is another over coming from the southern end. The batter is chopping it down, but there is a fielder and very agile inside that 30-yard circle and prevented any possibility of a run. So Guyana won the toss and opted to bat. 91 for 3 they scored off of their 20. Here is Barbados in response. 24 for 1. 5.2 overs are in progression. So the spinners keeping things relatively tight, though, I would say. Another dot ball, and a lot of times it comes into the cage, into the aspect whereby a high percentage of dot balls being bowled. And here is one firmly played down to mid-off. And the urgency of running, that is why probably the fielder was under a little pressure. And then even though it was played firm, but they got a single easily in the end. And
over to you, holder.
at the end of the over, Al Edwards will come in to replace me, Victor Eddy. And we are looking now, total 25 for 1, 5.4, 86 balls to get 67 runs. Barbados won. The wicketkeeper making a valiant effort, probably. It came off the edge of the bat, but then it fell to her right, which she was diving. 5.5. After this over, you will hear the voice once again of Al Edwards, who will rejoin Troy Mills. And a loud appeal. The umpire, Carl Tuckett, is on move, but the wicketkeeper was ferocious. It was asked the question. The wicketkeeper appeared to be confident, but umpire Carl Tuckett, who is in the better position as the umpire, thought that the batter did not get an edge. Well, after that over, the two batters are having a conversation. You will hear the voice of Al Edwards, and to continue with him will be Troy Mills.
25 for 1 at the end of 6 overs. And the Guyanese, they are tightening up somewhat.
But we have a new bowler left.
Only giving away 1 in that over Millington. And all these names today, Plefiana Millington. Not as simple as Susan or Sandra or Brenda. And here is Trish. It's Kishona Knight giving herself some room, pulling that one into the mid-wicket region. Bring up her second run.
In my years of doing commentary, I've always go with the rule, stay with the easier name. Millington.
Very well indeed, but when you have the 2 nights batting.
Okay, so you call one Knight and the next one by the first name.
Oh, okay then.
And both of them are K, so.
Definitely Kaisia and Kishona. Kaisia would have departed. And that is now her sister Kaisia, the keeper. And that's one of the changes we've seen in limited overs cricket, where the wicket keeper being pushed up the order to open the batting. And it has been used to great effect. One would have thought the wicketkeeper having to concentrate on every single ball from the time it becomes live until it is dead. You might have given some rest, but that's not the case, and it's probably brought out the best in the batting of the keepers.
Well, I think it's still varied, you know. Because, left the drive, could be out, over the over Shineta Grimon, and it will roll into the boundary.
And perhaps not misjudging the ball properly. Yes, stepping back, but a little too slowly was Grimond, the opening bowler, and she tried but not being able to get close to it, and the ball rolling into the boundary. So it's 30 for 1, Al. As we head towards the end of the 7th over.
First sign of aggression from Hola. Extra aggression, I would say.
And this similar shot, not carrying fully.
It's the end of the 7th over, 31 for 1. We have bowlers being rotated. So Griman, Munisa, and Wilfred Schultz all completed overs. And for Guyana, you are talking about bowlers. For Guyana, it's going to be spin, spin, and more spin.
And when you think you've had enough spin, spin after that.
Correct.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, spin.
Change
and
from
snacks.
spin to spin. Because the change coming now is Latchman, and Latchman loops up some leg breaks. I don't think I've seen it googly from her, but I understand that she has it in her armory. Don't know if you'll try it in a T20, but
we've seen Elliott trying it.
Brave enough.
And quite a contrast, the West Indies, well, female cricket today, not only female, male, where in the past the West Indies would have had pace, more pace coming even into limited overs. Now some teams are opening up both ends with spin.
Keep going, girls.
She, for a spinner, she has quite a long, I don't know if you say one up, a long walk up and then a one up. So she walks the first few spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then she gets into a jog.
And that one walked around the corner.
Run it.
It may have the legs to get to the boundary, and it just does, dropping outside the leg stump and coming in, and she'll be advised to keep from over there.
A decent paddle sweep by Hola. She got into her wicket and paddled it around. The ball had just enough pace to get to the boundary. Holder, moving on. 15 from 18, not bad.
And that's going to be a wide.
That is a wide.
And the Guyanese, they don't have many runs to play with, so they can't afford to be giving away these extras.
It's a leg spinner. They often say now leg spinners take a while before they get into their strides. And here we have them pushing back another player, Campbell, pushing back the backward square. She's supposed to be on the 45, but you have backward square leg deep mid wicket. Long on.
Oh, and the brilliant attempt by Campbell behind, guiding that one around the corner. I think they got some bat to that. And Campbell acrobatically diving to her right, not being able to stop it off.
Another paddle sweep. Latchman straying on the leg side. And Holder coming in the wicket and paddling distance. She paddled even finer than the first time. But this one didn't have much pace on it. And so the 3 players were able to run it down.
One of the, and perhaps the most difficult type of bowling is the right wrist spinner. When they're on, they can't do anything wrong. But when they're off, they're really, really off.
It will be true for the left. Now, what did you say, right arm? It will be true for the left
well,
arm.
I haven't come across many left arm wrist spinners, eh?
Okay.
Most, well, I think most, if not all, of the left arm bowlers I've seen are the normal orthodox leg break bowlers.
Come on, girls.
Okay.
I've seen a few, but a lot of them on the international level.
Okay.
Yeah.
The question is, of you as a bowler,
There's one from Australia. There's one from,
Stop it,
I think it was South Africa.
It's over.
He brought his head down all the way down.
yes. The thing about it, Al, you try to get your bowlers pick up a line and length before you start doing what you have to do. But with only 4 overs to bowl, do the bowlers here have that sort of privilege in T20 cricket? Are they being forced to hit that line and spot, line and length, basically on the first ball, the second ball maybe?
Yes, yes. This is not a practice. You have a chance enough to practice. So when you go on, you expect to hit the line and length from ball one. You have no room for trial and error.
And similarly, the batters don't have much room, much time to see, step in and see what the pitch is doing and what the bowlers are doing. Schultz, damn man, taking the edge. That would have been straight down the throat of the first slip. Not using any slip at all on this occasion. And biting the edges, as they'll say, Al.
Intelligent edges, I would say. An edge that didn't go into the hands of a fielder is an intelligent edge. The edge recognized that there was no slip there and chose to go that route.
The score race is on to 40.
Oh, yes, yes,
And we're in the 8th over. Maintaining that 5 per average run rate or thereabout.
They head on one weight. Almost halfway there.
Stop that, stop that.
Good single. Good single. Victor is in the background, not in his head. Just enough to meet the shot mid wicket and not strong enough to go too fast to mid on.
After 8 overs, the Guyanese were 22 for the loss of 3. Quite a stark contrast here. Barbados 41 for the loss of 1.
Well, Barbados has taken the driver's seat in this game for so far, edging on to just about half of the score with less than half the runs gone, half the overs gone, sorry.
And they're just in the field. Skipper Campbell looking at what's happening, making the necessary adjustment. That one drifting past the outside edge of Trishan Holder, 17 from 24. Shona Knight 6 from 13. So 37 balls between both of them yielding 17 runs.
Shows over.
I get the impression that Holder is not very comfortable against his spin. She's just waiting for a ball that's in her zone to hit with some force, but outside of that, she either not comfortable spin or not reading the leg breaks from Schultz.
And Guyana, similar to Trinidad, playing a lot of spin.
Come on, girls. Ashmani, go for me.
And you've got to play to your strength. Perhaps encouraged by Nagamoto way back when. Haven't heard of him in a little bit.
Stop it.
And it's Latchman.
Go on, Nye, keep going, Nye.
Come, Mandy, keep it
Come on,
up,
girls,
keep it
come on,
up,
girls.
Mandy.
Working hard for Guyana from the Lozak Road end.
Stop it, Mandy.
And good protection there. Short on the offside.
Come on, Nye, come on, girls.
A point and a backward point. And she seemingly has gotten her line and length a little better now, Al.
You know, based on commentators' course, as soon as you say that, I pause.
Stop it. Come on, Retty.
Driving away and shifting. But the batter's only getting a single. But this commentator's course, Al, it happens so often in all levels of cricket. So does that mean commentators should basically stay quiet and
I would think so.
and not give an opinion or compliment?
I would think so. I would think so. Because it seems as if there's some sort of connection between the commentator's mic and what goes on in the field. Because as soon as you say it, it's happening in this very game. I was commenting Connell for being steady. 5 balls and then the last ball down the leg side.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen it when I'm on air. I've heard it. I've watched it when you're looking on the streaming. And that's a good thing. The West Indies board needs to be complimented on the streaming of these games. Al, but not only the streaming, with the live commentary as well. Because persons all over the world, they're looking, they want to see how the cricket is developing, how it's coming along.
As we see Schultz diving away from friendly fire. Ball being relayed to the umpire just about the time when she's changing to accommodate left and right hand combination of Holder and Knight.
And what I like about these female teams are quite a few of them having very young players. I'll have to check the records to see which team is the youngest team
drinks.
generally.
I think the Leewards has the youngest player in Claxton. She is still a school child.
Jazara, yes. Jazara, 16, I think it is.
Right. I don't think there's anybody else's.
I'm wondering if there isn't a 15-year-old for Trinidad and Tobago.
Leanne Scott. I'm not sure, but she too was in the under 19 squad, so she's a teenager as well. We can double check that.
After 10 overs, 44 for 1. The Barbados team large and in charge. And they don't have to do anything out of the ordinary to bring home the bakings on this one. I now make way and invite Victor Eddy, who will be keeping Al's company.
Thank you very kindly, dear Troy Mills. You're not missing any action here at Warner Park, especially those of you who might just be viewing or joining us here as we are streaming this series. It's the T-Blaze 20 series. And Guyana, they won the toss and batted first here against Barbados at Warner Park and scored 91 for 3, the loss of 3 wickets in their 20 overs. And Barbados, after 10 overs, as we are now having a refreshment break, as all the players welcome this refreshment break, the sun out there in all its glory, the ground staff doing their usual good job, gardenings of the crease, remarking them where they might have been outed to brighten it enough so the umpires can have a clear vision whether a batter makes it in or one shot or the bowler overstepping. 44 for 1 Barbados in response, and to get 92 for victory, because Guyana, when they won the toss and decided to bat first in their 20 overs, they were 91 for 3. So Barbados in a very good position at this particular moment as the refreshment area has left the field of play. The players are going back into their various positions. And Al Edwards,
Ready again, Tux?
can you forecast the future outcome of this match, or you prefer not to be a forecaster?
Well, as a commentator, one would want to do the forecasting and predicting. The last game I did, which was Guyana and Windward, had me jumping around because at one point it looked as if everything was on Windward side and then Guyana side and then Windward side, and eventually I jumped off on the Guyana's boat.
Well, the thing is that once the interest and keenness and competitiveness stays there, it keeps everything alive in cricket, and more so in the 2020 version as this one. Flighted delivery, swept in the air for a while. The fielder took it on one bounce, but urgent running between the wickets, and the batters, they were able to get another run. So Barbados advances their cause. 58 balls to get 46 runs. 1 wicket down, 46 for 1. 10.2 overs. Here is another delivery. Left arm orthodox spinner. One hammered into the deep extra cover area, but there is a fielder who is about 15 meters from the boundary line in that position. But in the meantime, the batters were able to get another run.
Yeah, that's Mentor down there doing the boundary riding duties. Good job. Schultz is continuing. She's into her third over.
Oh, yeah, stop that ball. Good.
She reminds me a tad of one Versami Pomal at the point of delivery. The way they arch the back just before they deliver.
Well,
The Schultz.
very good observation there by Al. It shows you're paying attention. And is this going to be another wicket? It is. So the batter was guilty, and you look at the monitor, was not moving her feet, but it brought the valuable wicket that Guyana needs, and they have gotten it. So 2 wickets goes down for Barbados, 47 for 2, current run rate 4.48, required run rates 4.74, and the equation coming closer and closer. I think it's 57 balls, 45 runs. So Barbados, once they don't suck up too many dot balls, but there on the other hand, if Guyana keep taking wickets, Al, and somehow I always have that suspicion also too, and I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to mention it again. Sometimes in these situations with this total, I would like to see the bowling team get a hat-trick. I'm not back in Guyana, eh?
That would be helpful because it means you're going deep into the batting order. Deep into the batting order. But the point I was making before, Eddie, I was saying that Holder didn't look comfortable to Schultz at all. And the way she dealt with it was trying to hit out.
Well, I have heard certain conversations now about the Barbados team. Some teams, upon reflection of the Super 50, they would have figured if they would have used majority of spinners against Barbados, the results might have been different. I do not know how much significance that is, but that was also a good observation. But 2020 cricket is a different thing to Super 50 cricket. But anyway, it is not a bad observation. But here, Guyana proving the point to the point. Here is it. I'm very confident appeal. I think the wicket keeper in that instance there, Al Edwards, was very confident. And then the umpire, which is a good thing, took her time, raised the finger, another wicket going down. The equation is getting smaller. And, the thing is, that is what I say in the equation of the total, that if a bowler gets a hat-trick and Schultz is on one at this present moment, this can always present a different picture. Because every new batter who comes into the crease, and because it's 2020 cricket, you do not have a lot of time to settle in. But anyway, balls still above runs required, 55 balls, 10 is 10. But that is a slightly edge still that Barbados have. But what would happen if Schultz really get the hat-trick? And that is what I said before. And I remember last evening I said when the wrist spinner is going to bowl the googly Al, Leroy Curry the late, who was a wrist spinner, leg break and googly, he told me many years ago that the bowler must drop the left shoulder. And when that happened, I think a wicket was taken. Troy Mills was also a part with me and Novel. And those guys were out of order to call me a prophet. I said, no, I'm just an analyst. A prophet is too big for me.
Schultz will have to wait.
That's a cricket prophet.
Schultz will have to wait until the next over for her hat-trick as the over ended.
Well, it will still go down as a hat-trick if in her first delivery after the next over. If she bowls, it will be a hat-trick. But the spinners proving, something went wrong there. It could have been an error on the part of the umpires. But anyway, outside the off stump, being cut to straight to a field error at point. So the equation of balls coming closer to what is required, 56 balls, 45 runs.
Yeah, when you get something to one ball, that's when you get excited.
Well, if it does, more so, interesting, but a good delivery and a quicker one. And like I said before, Al Edwards, that I like to see when bowlers bowl where they can see the tree stumps, and the bowler coming from the southern end is doing ideally that. And here she is to the left-hander, round the wicket, down the leg side door. And now this is what Guyana can ill afford, but another run to the total by the wide.
Oh, yes.
They can ill afford that.
I thought he connected on something, but it looked like he connected on the wicketkeeper. And the umpire had no problems in calling a wide, pushing on the total by 1. Extra ball to face. Again, she's asking, and her finger goes up immediately. And Knight turns and walk away. She knew she edged that one. And if you're talking about spin against Barbados, Guyana is a team that has spin, more spinners trying I were talking about.
Well, and that one had some extra bunks that she extracted out of the turf too, and Carl took it, had no hesitation. But a lot of time for caught at the wicket, I usually look at how the wicket keepers respond, and the wicket keeper went up very early, and Carl took it was convinced. And right away, all the Guyanese fielders, they go in a hurdle, now they're discussing. This what makes 2020 cricket very interesting. 4 wickets are down, 51 balls to be bowled, 44 runs, 6 wickets are in hand, a game on hand here at Warner Park, and it can go either way. One friend of mine was telling me some time ago, well, Victor, it seems like in cricket now, where people used to have a little apprehension about, and people would say he afraid pace, but it come like people afraid of spin now.
And two to come.
Well, as long as Guyana is doing it, it's
You
going
think
to
that's
be
a good
spin.
one?
Good one.
The afraid spin.
Meanwhile, Alyssa Scantlebury has joined us in the crease. 2 new batters in. Neither of them faced the ball. First ball for Scantlebury. She blocked.
And Al, this segment of the game, because 2 new batters at the crease, Guyana has a good opportunity now, especially those in the 30-yard circle, to be very tight.
In the school,
Yeah,
yes.
they can get the singles easily.
Correct.
And try to bowl more wicket-to-wicket deliveries.
Good plan.
Not out.
This one going on with the legs, drifting out a little bit down the leg side. End of the over.
How would you like this other one now? Commentators should not be coaching in their broadcast.
I don't see any harm in that.
No, it is that.
Unless there's a broadcast going out to the fielders.
Yeah, that's right.
They can hear.
That is right. That is the difference. Well, probably when it was radio, please turn down your transistor radios because we are getting a general feedback.
Oh, yeah.
That was used to be the norm. Of
Yes,
the
in the
quality
days,
of the
there's
broadcast.
people would come to the grounds watching the cricket and still listening to listening to the radio.
A lot of pleasure used to be in that. Well, the farmers can carry the internet into the mountains, but unfortunately, sorry farmers, I don't have any control over the system, but the play continues here.
Yes, they can nowadays.
They can carry it into the
Oh,
mountain.
yes.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
all right. Well, I will suggest to the other farmers when they attack me, right? Carry your stuff into the mountains, please. And here's Shoaib Mills in the background calling it right. 48 balls. Well, it should be 47 now. 44 runs. It's getting closer, Al Edwards. Very intriguing game. This game, I think, can go either way. Okay, good.
Before I make my final prediction,
Yes, let's hear it.
I want to see somebody from Barbados who will put their hand up and push this total along. For the moment, I'm not seeing that. Just now, Cumberbatch opened up and showed that she has the aggression. I want to see a little bit of Scantlebury to see if this middle order can take it way down to the well.
Well,
Other than that, it's Guyana in the ascendancy for me.
even though all the segments of cricket favor the batsman, I want to be on the bowler's side this time.
Oh, another one out. Oh!
But here is it that, yes, not a hat trick, but a catch at this particular moment that went whereby the fielder just had to move paces to a left. Yes, it was low, got 2 hands to it, it was straight to her, and you have to pull in these situations because that then also to Al Edwards would have brought a next new batter to the crease because these two are very new to the crease, and if this would have let in another new batter, more pressure, but they let off. How much would this cost Guyana? We'll wait and see.
Stop that. Good.
So it's coming down to a run of ball, 43 balls. Well, I'm not certain if it is Tantimore in Warner Park, but it's Guyana Barbados, but we could have that same environment repeating themselves. And
This time.
another wicket. And the spin is doing the trick. I said earlier that batters look like they're afraid of spin now, and another wicket goes down. 5 goes down for Barbados. So half of their wickets back in the pavilion after 12.5. 49 for 4. They are chasing 92 for victory. Your thoughts, Al Edwards?
Well, I think that I'll go squeal into the Guyanese camp at this time. I'm not seeing the wherewithal among the middle order and now going into the tail end of the Barbados team to handle this quartet of spin bowling.
Well, the captain...
With spin bowling at that.
Yeah, and the captain is going in right now, who is Selman, in a situation where now she will have, along with Cumberbatch, they will have to work it out what is the best approach to take. Well, if I had a suggestion to the Barbados batters, you have to try and look to not get it on par runs per ball, but at the moment it is just about that. Required rate is 6.14, so 42 balls, 43 runs, and this is what makes 2020 cricket very interesting. And Guyana, they did it against the Windward Islands, so there's a possibility that lightning might just strike twice here at Warner Park. Not the lightning by nature. Here is a delivery shot being pulled down to mid-on, but it's going too quickly for any run. But inside the 30-yard circle now to Al Edwards, it is even more important that they keep things tight with two relatively new batters at the crease.
Very tight indeed. You can't give them any easy single, force them to play more aggressive shots, and that's where some carelessness will come in.
Stop that, stop that, stop that, stop that! Well done, Pierce.
Those are the efforts that need to be consistent from here on in from the Guyanese in all areas of the field, but especially inside that 30-yard circle. In any event, though, the batters got around 50s on the board.
Well, the first milestone for them, but unfortunately, the last 5 wickets, which you're talking about in the inside circle, but also on the boundary riders, you can't give you any easy boundaries either.
Even more importance of the boundary.
Limit them to one with strong throws, strong quick throws back in.
Well, Selman, the captain, is there, though. That is very important, that she will have to be responsible to lead from in front. Oh, a delivery again. One that Al Edwards can familiarize a particular bowler who had an off-break action and most of the times bowled a drifter. You remember playing against a bowler like that?
Yes, I comment.
Could you tell our listeners the name of the individual?
I
if
comment.
you agree like your thoughts?
I commented on it, Victor Eddy.
Oh, my. Okay, so I did not calculate that formula wrong, and Al Edwards have corrected our listeners and draw it to attention. The truth, a lot of times, is not an offense, but it's a compliment. Thank you very much, Al Edwards.
Yeah.
But interesting cricket here in the middle. There is going to get another run, and this is what pressure adds. The fielders in the 30-yard circle are on their toes. Selman has just come to the crease. It is 51 for 5. 92 is the target for victory. We are into over 13.5 overs, 51 for 5 Barbados, chasing 92 to get to victory. One being struck out to mid-wicket, not timing. There is confusion, hesitation, calling, yes, no. But the fielder moving smartly to her right and prevented any possibility of a run. That concludes the over. And Al Edwards, we have a very encouraging and inspiring match here in this T20 Women Blaze Regional Women Cricket, Barbados against Guyana.
I can feel the tension. I can feel the tension in the commentary box. But coming back to that fellow who bowled all mostly drifters, you know, he carried on the name as a half spinner. Mm-hmm. And you go down there and try to face him looking for half breaks, but they wouldn't come. He gave you one of the first ball of the over, and then after that.
I too, I will confess, I used to depend on a lot of breeze coming across the ground.
Correct.
That will assist me and so forth.
But
then too, it had a formula of success, which was minimal, but effective at times in situations. But it shows though that good spinners, and this time because there is a difference between slow bowlers and spinners, eh?
Correct.
So I'm in the category of a slow bowler, not a spinner. It was then, and honesty is the best policy, they claim. I believe so too. But here is the action here at Warner Park. And oh my, getting some spin and bounce off
Bounce
break.
and turn, yes.
Well, that's the spinner. That is the spinner and not the slow bowler. Getting it box and turn, Al Edwards. Al Edwards, you're not a betting man. But
Fraser.
my money gonna stay in my pocket. Even if you were a betting man, I wouldn't bet on cricket.
Come on, Ash. Come on, Ash.
It is not conducive because right here now, Guyana, yes, they have the edge at the moment.
Stop it.
And even more so, oh my, the misfield by the bowler. Oh, would that have been close in your view? Let's just look at the monitor.
No. Selma would have been home.
Okay, you have on the glasses, so
Yeah.
even better read.
Yeah.
34 balls.
As I usually say, should have been home, let out the cat, fed the dog, and looking at TV.
Okay, all right. And Al Edwards is talking from experience. Here is the game on hand, 14.2 overs. Another delivery outside the off stump. And again, almost getting an edge. We have seen what, 2 dismissals caught behind or 3?
Yes, 2.
Two.
2, I think
2
it's
or
2.
3? 3, okay. Troy Mills, thank you very kindly there. 3. So can there be a 4th?
Stop it. One.
Being driven, struck straight. But there again, when you're running quickly, that is why the fielder fumbled a bit, and the batters were able to get one.
Yes, they got one. They push on the score, but they're still in intense tension. This is tight here. This is grave concern at this stage. And Guyana at one point put in a slip. They just dispensed with the slip, Campbell.
Come on, Ash. Come on, Ash.
Well, you know what crossed my mind now too, that I believe all teams will be looking towards the future. But here is the delivery. There again, almost getting the edge. So good technique there. That has completed over number 15. No, sorry.
there's
One
one more
more
ball.
legal deliveries, pardon me there. But it is 53 for 5. And cricket, lovely cricket, right here at Warner Park, we are witnessing it.
Guyana was about the same score when they batted.
Okay.
In the 50s, but less wickets. We have Selman, the number 7 batter.
Well, Selman can make a difference here.
Stop that. Stop that.
Not on this occasion.
But
Feeler inside the 30.
I think she's known more for her bowling than batting, Selman.
Well, yeah. Better bowler, but have some batting ability. So, Al Edwards, the thing is now that the teams, the women in this tournament, when upon reflection and they look at the Super 50, even though it is a different and totally different contrast to 2020, they might just say, all being well for the next season, we're going to use more spinners against Barbados, even in that version of cricket. And there is a possibility that that may make a difference. Just on speculation again, but an observation, because they look, the Barbados batters look like they have not making good decisions, appropriate decisions in how they have played the spin so far. So the bowlers, I think, place the batters in playing fall strokes. So all credit to the bowlers from Guyana. But here is Schultz. Latchman, short, being pulled into the mid-wicket area. There is coverage out there. So there is only one, but we can see a lot more urgency now in the batters for Barbados, looking for every available run. 54 for 5.
When it gets down to this stage, boundaries are needed, and I'm not seeing where the boundaries are going to come from. They got to take risk. They have to take unnecessary risk in order to get these boundaries. Selman is opening up, Cumberbatch is opening up, but they are only getting singles. Can they prove me wrong? Latchman it is again.
Stop it. Stop it. Come on, Naya.
Yes.
Come on, Naya.
Tightness inside
Join
the
up.
30-yard circle.
Join up the boundaries, join up the singles.
Oh yes. And
Pressure cooker time.
and you could expect some indiscretions going to creep in, because as the scoring rate required goes to 8.14, a huge demand now on Barbados' behalf. Guyana can't afford to drop catches at this moment. One that is full, and the batter would have thought Selman that she should have made better use of it, but the only use she got was to get a single, advancing their cause now on to 55 for 5, 27 balls to get 37 runs. So, game on hand here at Warner Park, Barbados versus Guyana. Guyana won the toss, decided to bat, 91 for 3 off their 20. Doing well.
One
Being
stop,
pulled
one, yes,
down
it.
to White Long On. But the fielder made a bad miss. It's going to go close to the boundary. It hits the boundary at White Long On. 4 runs. So a bad miss by the fielder there in the outfield. But a welcome boundary for Barbados, which will bring the equation a little lower on their behalf. 26 balls, 33 runs, 5 wickets in hand. And that is usually a factor. A few words from you, Al, just before you depart.
Yes, I'll depart at the end over and bring back in Mr. Troy Mills to take it to the end of the game.
What do you think at this particular moment, though? I know you don't like to forecast the future because it could be a commentator's curse, but it can go either way. Short, being hammered into the deep. I think they're going to look for 2, no? The fielder is onto it, and quite quickly. And from that distance, now also, too, you have to be careful with the height that you're throwing the ball, because sometimes if it is too high and they run the first one quick, there is that possibility. But 60 is the score for 5. Another delivery. What would happen on this occasion? Selman is getting runs, playing it to the left of short point, who had to move to her left. She could not prevent the possibility of another run off that final delivery.
I'm staying in Guyana's corner.
You're staying in?
Guyana's corner. Runs on the board,
Okay.
scoreboard pressure.
That's right. And
Rich spin coming in the form of Munisa. Millington, I think, has another over.
Required run rate 7.74.
They need 7 runs and over.
Yes, 24 balls. But there again, two boundaries will always bring down an equation in that sense, really, too. But 2 wickets will also bring another equation on the other side.
As I bring Troy Biff Bills in, he's going to look for those boundaries.
Well, Troy is going to come in to replace Al Edwards, and really, we are coming down to the final moments. 5 after 16 overs. 61 for 5. Troy Mills, good afternoon. What you going to say to our listeners and viewers?
Tantimore has arrived at Warner Park. Long time I haven't seen or heard her. But I said earlier, this is not virgin territory for the Guyanese. Last night they scored 88, which we considered in essence a paltry 88. And knowing very well that runs on the board are runs on the board, they were able to restrict the Windward Islands to 84. Pressure.
But
Pressure
then-
bust pipe, as we say here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
But then the feeler inside the 30-yard circle, the ball went a little slow too, so she could have been attacking it, keeping her eyes on the ball. Yes, the batter's looking for runs, and there could have been a possibility of a run out, but that was not to be. You have to be tight inside the 30-yard circle.
You can't throw it unless you have it. And here is Cumberbatch pulling that one, playing it straight actually over the ball, and there's going to be a chance of a run out, and there's a appeal, and she's given out, Victor. And it could have been a double whammy. It could have been a run out at the other end, and it went straight to the striker's end, and Carl took it at square leg, no hesitation. But it could have been a run out at the non-striker's end as well.
Well, and you see, what you have just said, Troy, and you also too wear many hats, and a lot of times Troy Mills, who has just replaced Al Edwards, he's also an official umpire. So here is a controversial question again to you, as we can tell our listeners, especially those who are joining us. 62 for 5 is Barbados, 16.1. Guyana, when they batted first after winning the toss, they scored 91 for 3. Now, it's a conversation. It's not that the rules are going to change, but it's interesting. Can 2 batsmen be out at the same time? Just like how, no, for conversation. Just like how you almost had the run out at this end. But when the wicket is broken, yes, that's the rules of cricket as now. But then the other batter, where the ball passed the striker's end, where there was a possibility for a run out, and then at the other end, which is the striker's end, the person got to run out. Suppose it then, but then it's considered dead ball. The wicket here broken, but the other batter, the non-striker, is out their ground, and they throw it and run out the other batter.
Well,
that is controversial, of Victor.
Good thinking cricketers would break the stumps at one end and throw the ball at the other end and break the stumps just in case. But as soon as the first batter is out, the ball becomes dead. So then the other one wouldn't be out. But good cricketers thinking, hey, let me break the stumps here. Let me send it down there just in case this one home.
Yeah, that is good observation. But it is the rules, and but it was just basically for conversation. And I being a controversial person, as some people deemed it when they hear me here in commentary, because those debates, yes, but we arrange that rule whereby once even though the wicket is broken, the other batter who is out of the ground, they could be given out. But the game has evolved. But I don't think we'll reach that pinnacle. But what is more important is what's happening now. 63 for 6. Is this an opportunity for another wicket? One bounce to the fielder moving from mid-off, who had to move about 5 paces, did well and restricted the batters to 1 run.
Well, I think it looked like it's Connell who is now in. She did her job with the ball and now being asked to do even a greater job with the bat to try and see Barbados home. And she has with her captain, Selman, who is 5 from 10 balls, and the Guyanese relentless in their pressure. And that would squeeze into the boundary. Oh, and it beats a diving effort of the fielder there. A brilliant effort, goalkeeper style. And that deserved, by the effort of the fielding, only 1 run. But not being able to cut that one off his mentor, and a well-needed boundary. I know Al Edwards was wondering where and when and how and if these boundaries are going to come. Well, and we've seen 2 since he has gone.
Yeah, and the required rate now jumps up. Well, 19 balls, 23 runs. So in this situation,
4 wickets in hand.
In this situation, 2 quick wickets.
Oh.
If you get 2 boundaries, let's give it a balance. It can go either way still.
And here's that one being skied, and it's gonna drop just short.
She indicating the sun.
Yes, and the sun is actually in that direction. She was running facing to the sun, Victor. But it's all happening here, and this is what we're referring to as we say tantimall cricket.
70 is the total Barbados. 6 wickets are down. They are chasing 92 to get to victory. Guyana, when they batted first after winning the toss, they scored 91 for the loss of 3 wickets off their 20. Now 17 has completed, 18 balls to get 22 runs, 2 quick wickets, a different picture, but 2 fours, a different picture also. So we are balancing the scale.
A wicket and a 4.
Endless
different scenarios here, but whatever it is, it's interesting cricket, and the Guyanese, they're moving around with a lot of life, so they're feeling that they're large in charge.
Well, and when a team is taking wickets, for some reason, all the fielders just get extra energy, and it is demonstrated now. But Connell, who struck a 4 in the last over, she is now on strike. Let us see what will happen on this occasion. Lovely cricket at Warner Park, short, and Connell is turning it around to a short fine leg. They will get an easy single, which would make the equation a little more appropriate. We have now probably 17 balls, 21 runs.
The strange thing about that, Victor, Latchman has bowled to batters playing the ball to the same position and didn't get a single. The batters didn't get a single.
Okay, well,
on
here
the
is
45.
the captain. Selman is on strike. Down the pitch, hitting this one straight, and you see, that is the urgency again about running the wicket. Probably the fielder, they're just slightly taking an eye off and looking at the batters, and they were able to get a next run. So 16 balls, 20 runs. If Guyana can get 2 wickets, or Barbados get 2 fours, then we're seeing changes all the time as which way it might go.
And here's that one upishly.
Coming down to short third man, they run 1. They're going to get more than 1, 2, which they really need Barbados. And in the end, it was in the air for a while, so 2 more to the total, making it now 74. But the required rate is 7.20. 15 balls, 18 runs, 2 wickets or 2 fours, a big difference in the game. But what an interesting encounter here between Barbados and Guyana.
Evenly balanced.
And one struck, and the fielder shot mid-wicket, made a valiant effort. wide long arm come on the boundary, and there's a possibility it could have been a run out, but the bowler did not hold on to the ball, and that would have been interesting enjoyment.
She had to jump, in all fairness to her, but it was a brilliant piece of fielding down there on the wide long on boundary. And I think at this stage, 75 for 6 off of 17.4 overs, needing something like 16 runs, is it? The game is still evenly poised, if you ask me.
Well, I don't have to ask you that because I know you know it well, and you have said it well. And here is another run though to Barbados because Connell would make it in. Selman struck that one. So quite a productive over there. They got what? 4, 5, 6 runs coming out of that over. We are going. Pardon? Oh, sorry. One more ball. Pardon me. So still have an opportunity, Barbados, to look and try to get more runs.
And Guyana still has an opportunity to get a wicket in this over.
That's right. That's right. Equally balanced. Here is one being struck. They're going to get more than one, it looks like. They run one because it's wide long and wide mid-wicket had to come in. So that even has made that over more productive at the final delivery. And it is now 78 for 6. 18 overs have been completed. Who is going to win this encounter between Guyana and Barbados? I do not know. Well, so a fielder is on the wide or deep mid-wicket area, and another player is on the ground, and we are seeing now the physios going there now to give her some assistance, and we will all hope that she will be okay and nothing serious, because we have had one player who have left the field for an injury. 12 balls, 14 runs to had. So it would mean that the 19th over, which comes up, if Guyana gets 2 wickets, then another big different picture. If Barbados get 2 boundaries in the first 3 deliveries, a different picture. All speculation on our behalf. Either way it can go. And I am very glad that my fellow commentator, Troy Mills, do not bet on cricket. Troy, you're right. Keep your money in your pocket.
I've learned that a long time ago. Runs on the board are already runs on the board.
Yes.
And we saw the might of Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad and Tobagans taking on the might of Barbados, putting them in and skiddling them out, basically. When we thought that was an ill-advised decision, but proving otherwise.
But in all fairness to cricket, I think the Barbados players look a lot much more, I have to be careful with my choice of words. They look a lot much more accomplished playing against medium pacers and fast bowlers. But the results of the spinners, they're showing that their shot selections were not proper, but you have to give credit to the bowlers for putting the batters by making false strokes. But Guyana will be hoping to repeat a performance that they did in previous match. Well, on the other hand, what a game of cricket this is, and will always continue to be once you come down to the 2020 version. Who's going to win, Troy?
Shenetta Grimond. She has had 3 overs, 11 runs, 1 wicket. And here is Selman charging, picking up a single. And what I've noticed about Connell, she's very businesslike when she's in the wicket. She's quick between the sticks and a little power with her, and she's not afraid to take on the bowlers. And she charges and she pulls that one through mid-wicket, and she's only going to get 1. And the Guyanese skipper will be hoping that Grimmond could maintain her 4 runs per over average for this over. They've had 2 so far, Barbados.
Well, and four deliveries to be bowled in the 19th over. 10 balls to get 12 runs. So what can be the result? And this is the actual suspense of cricket. And it exists. And here is a full toss door. A delivery can be ill-afforded, another run. So far they've gotten a run off of every ball so far in the over.
Better run than a boundary, Victor.
Well, 9
and
balls.
No ball, and better run than a no ball and a wide as well.
That is true. Well, wait and see.
Grimmond again tries from the media center end.
Another run again. Full toss.
going down the field into the mid-on region. And what do you think the Guyanese are thinking at this stage? 4 balls, 4 singles.
Well,
Would they be saying, yes, we're still in with this, we're still going to win this, or are they seeing it slip away?
well, the thing is for the bowlers to bowl wicket to wicket, straight on the stumps. Oh my, Selman is playing a nice shot. Longinitas, it goes across the line for 4. Oh, well. That could bring the equation now more stronger in the behalf of Barbados. That 4. And
Anything can happen. 6 runs to get in 7 balls, Victor. This is cricket. It only takes
if
1 ball to get a wicket.
yeah, and also too, even if without a wicket, if this other delivery is a dot ball, that will also too can put pressure for the final over of the 20. But if they get runs, it can make the equation for Barbados with 4 wickets in hand a lot much more easy, because the batters could really take chances too with wickets in hand. But let us see what will happen. A delivery play down to mid-on, more runs again, and 1 more. And the final run off of the 19th over, would that have completed? Yes. So after 19 overs, the Barbados team chasing 92 for victory, because Guyana, when they batted first after 20 overs, 91 for 3. Who is going to win this game? No one could tell, but with 1 over to go, 5 runs to add, 6 balls to be bowled.
87 for 6 the score. At this stage, the Guyanese were 83 for 3.
What a big difference.
So Guyana has basically, the Barbadians have come back somewhat.
Yes,
And still Victor spreading the field, half defensive, half on the boundaries, and half inside.
well, I believe I might have had a different view.
What would your feel be at this stage?
I will bring in the long on and the long off. Just
Force them to go over the top.
yeah, and you could either get a stump by they getting out.
What
of the
about
way.
bringing in 1? Well,
Okay.
Campbell is bringing in the
Tightening the inner
Yes.
field and trying to keep it tight. just
bringing in
about-
the cover boundary into the cover position.
because
So it's a backward point to cover,
yeah.
extra cover.
Because if they get a run off the first ball or the second delivery or 2 or so, then it make their task easier, because with wickets in hand, the batters can take, and here is a chance for a run out.
Yes, and she is actually out.
Yeah, well, that is the thing about, that's what I say, that ball and the wicket going. So, what a game on hand here. 87 it is now for 6. And I wouldn't blame
for
Connell
7.
for
For
7.
7.
Sorry, for 7. I would not blame Connell to that aspect in this sense, to what it has come down to. And in terms of the equation, and she was right, looking for every opportunity. But the little only good thing in Barbados' favor is that they have wickets in hand.
I was going to ask you, Victor, if you were the skipper of the Guyanese team, any wicket is any wicket. And our colleague Al Edwards in the background is still, his money is still on Guyana. But at that stage, Victor, before this wicket would have fallen, I was going to ask you, if you preferred to take a wicket, which one would you have preferred, Connell or Selman?
Ah, boy, you put it
That was
right,
before the run out.
that you put it right on the button.
I think I would have preferred Connell because of her business-like approach.
And also to her
And
power hitting.
yes, and she wants to hit big.
Yes.
And now we see Campbell bringing in the mid-wicket from the boundary
5 off.
to about 3/4 of the way. Selman is feeling and perhaps thinking that she's not going to clear the field so much. And who do we have on the outside? The long on, the long off. There's a field on the square leg. Selman charges, and a good decision. They're going to get 1. And the same fielder Campbell brought in limited the batters to just 1 run. So a brilliant piece of captaincy there on that occasion.
Yes, and 4 from 4.
And Tantimol, she has been here at Warner Park. And
Come.
Al Edwards is very confident that Guyana will win. And,
Millington 3.2 overs, 11 runs.
I'm
And
sti- I'm
Tantimol Victor has been given VIP treatment here at Warner Park because of the status of this game. 4 runs in 4 balls. I run a ball and there's going to be a loud appeal and it's not out. And there's going to be a shy at the stumps. Miss the run 1, they'll come back for 2.
That's it.
My. And getting a thin edge onto that one. There was an appeal for run out. But on this stage, Victor, you hold the ball and you look for that. Yes. But then nobody was behind the stumps, I think. I'm remembering. So it was a valiant effort still. And 2 runs from 3 balls. A lot of things can happen. 3 wickets to get, 2 runs to get. And driving on that one, a good effort to stop. They run 1 and looking to run for second is Elia Williams. And the scores are level 91 for 7.
Very good game.
1
indeed.
run to get from 2 balls.
Very, very good game here. I think coming down, we have seen a lot of interesting games, but this one will go down into the
Yeah, this one
equation.
would take the cookie.
Well,
Cricket is not a game, Victor, for persons with weak hearts. You have to have a strong heart to be watching cricket. And it's Millington. And driving, is that going to be a catch? And it's all over. That's a single. Winning 1 ball to spare. 1 ball left. 92 for 7. Winning by 3 wickets. The umpires are seeking confirmation. And the fielders, it's been confirmed. Barbados needing 92 for victory, 92 for 7 from 19.5 overs. Not getting much closer than this. And poor Al Edwards, he has my empathy because he was betting on the Guyanese. And at the end, that extra run and that extra boundary, and that would have been the difference. And the overthrows, that would have been the big difference. But a very, very interesting game of cricket here at Warner Park.
and Al Edwards did the right thing. The dollars that is weighing down his left pocket, he kept it in that left pocket, and I did not see it, and I was right. I just made a guess, but for our listeners, more important. So we had a very interesting and competitive match: Barbados against Guyana. T20 plays regional cricket, and Guyana, after winning the toss, they scored 91 for the loss of 3 wickets off their 20, and Al Edwards is leaving us. So I'll thank you very kindly for your services today, and we look forward to see you on Tuesday, all being well, God sparing our lives. Well, at this moment, Troy, what an interesting encounter. And we can't just close off like that. We have to give some highlights, what transpired, and what an encounter we have had. And I believe so far, in my estimation, others will have different views, but I believe this was the more intriguing one, even though we have had other intriguing games. And Troy, a good victory for Barbados in the end, but well done, Guyana, and the spinners did an excellent job, and they must be congratulated in that aspect for keeping it that competitive.
They lost the match, Guyana, a match that perhaps they could have won, a match that could have gone anyway. But they should feel proud. They defended 91 runs and they defended it well. And they need to keep their heads high. And they've played 2 matches, winning 1, losing 1. And they will now need to concentrate on the other 3 matches that will be coming up. Barbados, on the other hand, having lost to Trinidad and Tobago last night, winning this one. They needed to. Both teams needed to, if they were to stand a chance to unseat the defending champions, Jamaica, who will be coming up just now. But a very, very good game, and I think it's the most exciting game so far, notwithstanding the Trinidad game down in St. Paul's in the Super 50 overs. But a wonderful game of cricket, a wonderful day of cricket, and I'm hoping this will cause spectators to come on out and look at the other games. This is only the 5th game of 15. So we have, that's 10 more games left. There's this one tonight in a bit, and that starts at 7 o'clock. And then on Tuesday, there are going to be 3 games. Thursday, there are going to be 3 games. On Saturday, they're going to be the final 3 games. The Jamaica, the defending champions. It's a lot to play for here, and anything can happen at this stage. We're seeing some lovely cricket. We're seeing some opportunities as well, but we're actually waiting for the stats so we could give you in greater detail. We know Guyana, they won the toss and they decided to bat first. They were 91 for 3 at the end of their 20 overs. And we know the Bajans, they are 92 for 7 at the end of 19.5 overs, therefore winning this encounter. But it may be a little challenge to get the individual details for you, but we're hoping that we will be able to do that still. And
Yes, and at the same time, though, Troy, I have seen this observation whereby, even though it's the 2020 blaze, and upon reflection of the Super 50, I would like to believe not just Guyana, but the other teams which are going to participate and continue to participate in this tournament, I think their strategies going forward in the Super 50 for the upcoming series says that will be held in the Super 50 for women. I think more teams will be more working on their spinners and more basically making their bowling attack more relevant to the spinners, recognizing that there are some issues that the Barbados batters have in really comprehending and accessing the spin attack of Guyana. And even though Guyana lost, I think collectively they made a good showing of themselves. They were competitive, and into the end it went down very interesting. But in the end, Barbados won, and they must also be congratulated because they have played 2 games, they lost 1, and winning this one today in a grand fashion, which went down to be an exceptional T20 Blaze Women's Regional Cricket right here at Warner Park. Well, the roller is now on the pitch, and the next encounter will be at 7. So when Troy Mills have gotten some information, well, not as yet, but at the same time though, we can say and just remind those of you joining us, Guyana won the toss against Barbados. They batted first, and when they scored 91 for 3 of their 20 overs, Barbados in response, they lost 7 wickets but came out winning the game.
Indeed, Victor, and a very good thing for female cricket, the highest standard in the West Indies to be played here in St. Kitts, because this can only encourage a lot of Kittitians and the divisions, the females, to get involved. And this is actually a bonus with Jazara Claxton from St. Kitts making it into the West Indies on the 19. And this, I am certain the West Indies Cricket Board, the Leewards Cricket Board, and the St. Kitts Cricket Association no doubt would hope that we'll see an upsurge in female cricket around the region. But we leave you with the news that Guyana, they put up a valiant effort. It was not good enough, and the Bajans coming out with a victory, and 92 for 7 from 19.5 overs in search of 91 runs. And on behalf of Al Edwards, Victor Eddy, and myself, Troy Mills, we bid you farewell from this game and invite you to stay for the other game that should be coming up. That would be Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago. Jamaica, the defending champions. Have a good afternoon. See you later.